Good evening, ladies, gentlemen, days, and gays. This is the Real Pineapple. This is your humble host, Hunter here. Happy Fri-Yay, everybody. Hope you've had a good week. Hope you're staying well. Hope you're being blessed. All those fun things. Happy D23 weekend, by the way, y'all, because that is the big thing this weekend. I thought that I wouldn't be doing a stream this weekend, but apparently I am now because I'm gonna have to talk D23. I'm gonna have to talk D23 shit. Real quick, I'm just gonna roll out here, rocking the new TVA hoodie here, which with the Miss Minutes beanie for D23 weekend. I haven't reviewed it yet properly, but goddamn, I love season 1 and 2 of Loki so goddamn much, and it's for as much shit as Disney gets, and a lot of it's definitely deserved. Goddamn, that show just fucking rules. It's very before I get into my whole talking spiel, I know how fucking rude of me. I want to welcome a constant contributor on streams. We haven't had Brandon on an actual like audio review yet, which will have to happen at some point. But Brandon, thank you so much for joining me. How you doing, man?
Hey! I am doing quite well today. Off work, so doing nothing. But this is my most productive thing today.
Boom! There we go.
So being very, very relaxed on this Friday. This Fri-Yay.
So let me ask you, man. Give me something good about your week. What's been something good about your week?
Something good about my week. That's a good question. Well, I don't know. I always have these conversations. Haven't talked with one of my friends in a while, where we just like sit down and chat about what we've been watching, what we've been doing this week. Always like movies and stuff. I finished Severance, so that's a really
I still need to watch that. How
really great show. Like literally finished it last night. It's really good. If you like some sci-fi,
I do.
You like some dark comedy,
I do.
some drama,
I do.
Great score, like and mystery, then like this is your show. I have to keep reminding myself that Ben Stiller like did this. Like he's one of the main creators, and like he's amazing.
So I got to give Ben Stiller like some like it's really quite interesting because Zoolander was such a cult hit. Has definitely garnered cult status, rightfully so. Has my favorite cameo in a film ever with David Bowie when Bowie showed up. I don't talk about Bowie a lot, but I'm a big fan of Bowie, and just when he showed up, I lost my shit. I was like, holy fuck, I lost it in the theater because I actually saw that in the theater opening weekend. There's about 20 people in the theater, and I remember,
of course,
it was me, this guy Kyle, and then ironically enough, Colin, the guy who I actually started the Real Pineapple with. We were laughing our asses off, and everyone was like looking around like, why are they laughing so hard? I'm like, because this is fucking brilliant, and y'all don't understand it. But that makes me happy because I've heard nothing but praise about that fucking show, and I need to sit down and watch it. I've been very oh my gosh, I'm man, sorry, I'm still waking up a little bit, y'all. Like so I've been sleeping kind of weird the last couple days. You know how like you have a dream, but you can't really like remember what the dream was about, like
all the time.
And that's happening with me recently. It's doing just enough to like fuck with my sleep schedule a little bit. So that hasn't been great. Also, y'all, I already apologize for this, but for those of you who didn't catch the stream on that been Wednesday, I was out of town for my sister's wedding. I've mentioned both my sisters on the pod before, but my sister Beth and her partner Brian got married. So congratulations to them. Very happy for you both. Thank you so much for having Alea and I. That meant a lot to us. I will, and then their daughter their daughter Lily made like bracelets for everyone. So she made me this little like very
Aw,
Wakandan-esque bracelet.
that's so cute.
I've been rocking this for like the last week and a half. Like it's something I don't even think about now. Like I'm just
Mm.
like, oh my god, it's there, and it's like it's I don't know how she did it because like putting together a bracelet, that's just something that I'm already just like, oh god, that seems
Yeah, that's
exhausting.
over my head.
But yeah, she like yeah, fucking great. So
Mhm.
the wedding was really nice and weather
Oh
was
yeah.
nice and everything. So but on the flight back I got COVID and so
Ooh.
yeah, so that's the thing, man. I it's so frustrating. This actually transitions perfectly into soapbox corner. So this is gonna be my
Mhm.
soapbox thing. People, if you're on a plane, you should be wearing a fucking mask. Like
Yeah, at this
like
point.
people, come on, like stop being gross. I understand if you're like out in a concert or like outside, like it's like a big open area. I at least can understand you not wearing a
Yeah,
mask. But if you're in
but
a
like
condensed space like that,
mhm.
wear a fucking mask. And two, airlines, go fuck yourselves. Why are you making seats smaller? Like
Oh my god,
they're
no.
getting smaller. Like I haven't flown commercial probably in about 5 years, but the seats were not that small last time I flew. Like they
See,
are
I'm
getting
I'm
smaller.
worried now because I haven't flown in like forever, like as well, and I'm going on a trip next month, and so like I have no idea what to expect.
Oh, nice trip. Where are you heading?
Seattle, and then
Oh shit,
to
go
the
figure.
and then to the land. We're not flying there, but we're driving. I think to the land of our friend, Canada.
Oh, nice, man. Hell
Mhm.
yeah. What's taking you to Seattle?
Well, I just haven't been on like a trip like with my friends in forever. Like every time they had one, I always missed it. I was like doing school, I was out of town, I was broke. But yeah, this time just we're going for well, one, we just wanted to go on a trip because like we could have seen this artist that we're going to see here, but we're going to see Gambino, Childish Gambino in
Oh, let's
Canada.
go. Hell
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
Uh, I mean, that's enough reason right there.
hell
It's
yeah.
good to go.
So
That's
Canada plus Gambino is good.
oh god, I envy you so much.
Mhm.
Damn. Now is it just a couple y'all going? Is it several people? Like,
It's a handful of us. I'm trying to think. It's like me, 3, 4 of my best friends like that I've known like since like middle school.
oh shit,
Um,
okay.
one of their brothers, and then like 2 of our other friends. So like
Hell
yeah,
yeah, man. I'm
handful of us.
excited. I'm excited for you, man. That'll be a fun trip.
Thank you, thank you.
Now did y'all like are y'all Airbnb in it? Are you hoteling it? Like what are
I'll
you
B&B in it. We're
B&B
B&B
in
in
it?
it.
Nice.
Mhm,
Um, I will tell you, I'm a
mhm.
little bummed now because I'm missing you by a month because I might be heading up to Seattle in like October, and it's just
Oh, that's insane. Oh
it's
my
like
gosh.
oh like curses like that
Yeah.
would like I'm literally missing one of my friends potentially by about 4 days
Mhm.
if the timeline lines up, and I'll just like oh son of a bitch. So
Yeah.
um, but that's awesome, man. I
Mhm.
dude to see Gambino,
I
that
know. Never seen him before, so I'm excited. But like when you mention like these flights things, like I'm just now realizing like, wow, yeah, I haven't flown in a while. So like definitely gonna be interested to see like if it's as bad as like you say, like with the smaller seats and everything.
that yeah, so like I mean, so I've talked about on the pod before. Like I'm a big dude. I'm like 6'2", like
Mm,
260, 265. Like I'm a big guy. And there is nothing worse than when I have to sit next to someone who I don't know.
mm,
Like it's uncomfortable. This
yeah.
guy was like sleeping on me, and I'm just like, oh god,
Oh
like just
no.
just like no, get off me.
Mhm,
Um so yeah, people, like if you're gonna be on a plane, like especially in an airport, like just how gross those are, like wear a goddamn mask.
mhm,
Like for fuck's sake. So that's one thing. Two, um, I'm trying not to get too much into politics before November because it's just like that is one thing I really hate about America is like the election
mhm.
cycle lasts so goddamn long.
Dude, it
Like
feels
pre-
forever.
it really does go forever. Like it's
Mhm,
fucking exhausting. But but one thing I gotta point out, man. JD Vance, dude, you were just like, okay,
He's not real. He's a South Park character.
that's kind of like okay. So I've talked to. Hang on, I'm gonna take a big hit because I'm about to.
Oh my goodness.
Oh yeah, we were supposed to be joined by Canada. I have no idea what he's doing. He's
being fatherly and loading up a truck. He says,
yeah, probably doing kid shit. But
mm.
we might be joined by him at some point. If not, it's going to be two black dudes, one mic. So, but JD Vance, man, I think. Okay, let me backtrack a little. So when I was a kid, I was going to church regularly. Because I've talked about it here on the pod before. Originally, I was going to be a youth pastor. I know. Some of you are like, "What the fuck?" Yeah, I know. I used to be a lot nicer. But when I was going through high school and everything, like I definitely leaned more right than left because I was knee deep in the in the church sauce. And then I remember, which I mean, considering what churches do to kids, that might come across a little but that was kind of like my Donald Glover Shaft juice. I was like, wait a minute, oh, church sauce. But I remember when Bush, like I remember when like the war in Afghanistan happened and everything, and that was kind of my first like, wait a minute, this doesn't make sense. And I thought it was weird back then, and like to see what it's turned into now is just, it's nuts to me, y'all. And to see someone like JD Vance actually say the things they say in a microphone and have no sense of irony or any sense of, oh, maybe I shouldn't say this shit. The whole childless like cat lady comment that he made, the defense that his wife tried to make, whoo, like, girl, yeah, like just hold that L. Like like I would at least respect someone, like not even respect, but I can at least wrap my head around someone just being like, like I hate gay people. I think they all should burn. That's at least a very like straight statement that at least I can like attack you on. But trying to go ahead and spin the shit and be like, no, I didn't mean like that. What I actually meant, it's like, no, just you meant what you meant. Don't backtrack now. Like, stick by your word. And I'm trying. So my thing this year has been trying to get blocked by like Republicans and like Republican adjacent celebrities. So like Kevin Sorbo is on the list right now. I've been trying to get blocked by him. Hasn't happened yet. I'm hoping. I've been tweeting at JD Vance. I've been tweeting at him like Ashley Furniture couch ads and shit. So I'm hoping like that's enough to get me like so he hasn't blocked me yet, but I'm hoping.
Still going.
Yeah. So that's been my goal. But it's like people like I've talked about this before, and this will be the last political thing I say before I throw it to you. But I've been so sick of Democrats just like taking it and like this whole ambiguity of like moral victories. Let me just tell y'all. Let me tell y'all just a secret. There is no moral victory in politics. like moral victories are not a thing. There's getting elected and there's not getting elected. And I appreciate now that it seems like Republicans or Democrats are finally like, oh, we're kind of sick of being like, well, maybe. It's like, no, you need to actually show some fight and stop being. And that's why, like, whether you like her or not, Kamala Harris is like the right person to go ahead and be the nominee. And her VP pick, I gotta give her credit. I thought she would fuck that up. Like, I'm gonna be honest. I was kind of like she might go Buttigieg or like she could fuck this up. And no, I gotta give her props. I actually went, oh, okay. Like the person who actually made sure that cops in Minnesota are actually held accountable. Like, you've got my vote. Like that.
Yeah,
like,
right. That's
like,
good, yeah.
Like, okay. So I gotta give her credit. Well, I mean, I'm voting for her obviously because I want I'd like democracy to last another 4 years. Which people, by the way, that's like the other thing. like I get some people like Trump. I don't get why. Like, because I'll be honest, at this point, it feels like the third act of A Beautiful Mind. Like he is just losing it, and just like I just don't think Trump knows what he's talking about anymore. The Martin Luther King Jr. thing, that was kind of my last straw. Like I've never like. So I want to pull this clip. I want to pull this quote specifically because I want to make sure I'm quoting him. Let me see, MLK Jr. because what he said. So yeah, he compared the size of his January 6th rally to the MLK to Martin Luther King Jr.'s I Have a Dream audience, which already I'm like, dude, what the fuck are you doing? Like just like shut the fuck up, shut the fuck up, shut the fuck up. So I want to make sure. Okay, here we go. Here's the exact quote. Here, let me take a sip of my because make sure all right. This is what Trump said verbatim. I'll tell you, it's very hard to find a picture of that crowd. It's not. You see the picture, a small number of people relatively going to the Capitol, but you never see the picture of the crowd. Not true. The biggest crowd I've ever seen, or I've ever spoken. I've spoken to the biggest crowds. God, I hate when he does that shit. Here's the thing. Nobody has spoken to crowds bigger than me. People, you're voting for this motherfucker? Really? Like that doesn't immediately. But I continue.
Yep.
If you look at Martin Luther King, by the way, white people, it's Martin Luther King Jr. Jr. Jesus fucking Christ. Why is it so goddamn hard for y'all to get that? Martin.
Oh. Uh-oh.
I literally just clicked out of the stream because I irritated myself.
I was like, what happened?
No, not you. That's me. My bad. But people, Martin Luther King Jr. Martin Luther King was his dad. That's why there's a junior. Like that is something that's happened for years, and people rarely correct it. It honestly pisses me off. It's like the most irritating thing because it's too. I digress. If you look at Martin Luther King Jr. when he did his speech, his great speech, and you look at ours, same real estate, same everything, not the same message, by the way. Let's just get that out of the way. That's one thing. That's a giant difference there. Same real estate, same everything, same number of people, Trump said. They said he had 1 million people, which he did, but I had 25,000 people. But when you look at the exact same picture and everything's the same because it was the fountains, the whole thing, all the way back to from Lincoln to Washington, and you look at it and you look at the picture of his crowd, my friend, we actually had more people. So let me just say this. He says in the sentence prior, they had 1 million people, but I had 25,000 people. So, motherfucker, you're short 975,000 people. That is not the same goddamn thing. And people are voting for this guy. Like, so here's the thing. The Associated Press said that the whole Stop the Steal crowd reached roughly 10,000 people by the time the riot began. So that's less than half of what he said. In like, people, come on. Like,
these people don't look at the facts.
Like, but y'all, this is exhausting at this point. This is why Trump angers me so much, because like, stupid is one thing. Like that's one of my favorite Ron White quotes ever is, you can't fix stupid. And he's 1,000% right, because this is the shit where I just start pulling my hair out. I'm like, people, like, there's one choice to vote for. It's not even like, it's not even a choice at this point. It should, like, so I'm just going to say, as we get closer to November, and I know, like, if you've been friends with me for the last, like, if you've been friends with me since, like, I'll say 2016, because I've talked to Canada about this, you can just see politically my posts. Like you can just see the erosion of me trying to be any way, shape, or form, like show decorum or like great. Like my brain just can't handle it because people are like I talked about it. The amount of people I had calling me a child molester because I thought Cuties actually was a decent movie. Not a great movie, but a good movie to watch on streaming that brought up some actual good points. The amount of people I had calling me a child molester for that shit, those people have been blocked and told to go fuck themselves, by the way. But the amount of people I had getting on me for that, and Trump says this shit, I'm like, man, it must be nice to be white. Like, I wouldn't want to be white all the time, but just for a day, just like, just to be like, day. Yeah, just to be like, oh, I could go out in the street and shoot someone, and everyone's just go like, oh, we'd still vote for you. Like, man, it must be nice, man, because this motherfucker, like, I really pray, and look, as someone who's lost his dad, I've always said, like, I would never wish death on Trump or anyone like that. I do have somewhat of a soul still, but y'all seeing shit like this really pushes that. it really makes me go, I don't know, because man, like this shit is just exhausting. Brandon, my friend, afternoon tune. I will literally block you, man. Shut the fuck up. I'm not the But Brandon, I will throw it to you, man. Is there anything soapboxy you need to get off your chest? Anything you want to rant about?
Soapboxy? Oh, geez. What do I want to rant about? I mean, I guess just my stuff is always the little things. Recently, very, very upset that Game Informer got shut down because GameStop fucking sucks.
Yeah.
And like I saw recently, whoever was in charge of like their media, I think it was actually somebody who's like worked there, like posted like a very sweet message, and then like it got like taken down like not even within a day, like by like GameStop. So I think like all their like everything's getting like shut down like so quickly. And I'm just like, that was my childhood.
Yeah, that one hurt a lot just because it was such a staple for so long. I'm assuming you're gonna bring it up, but Boomerang being shut down by Warner Brothers, that hurts a lot.
All these recent things, that like the Cartoon Network website I think got shut down recently too.
Yeah.
So like that double whammy is just like, what the hell are you guys doing? There's one more wild thing that happened. Oh, we just talked about it in the chat, but Genndy Tartakovsky's new movie is like now in limbo because Warner Brothers sucks. Just all this Warner Brothers constantly being shit at their jobs, and I have no idea how David Zaslav is still in charge of that fucking company.
I think that's going to be changing by the end of the year.
I hope so.
I think we're at that point where I think I saw they lost like they like netted like $9 billion loss or something like that.
Yeah. All these. I saw that too. Apparently they thought it was like less, but they like sell like way more or something like that.
Like, wow. So here's the thing that I will say about that. A company like Warner Brothers that's that big, like, losing all that money obviously is not ideal, but I use this term all the time. The machine really runs itself at this point. So, I mean, Warner Brothers will be fine because it's fucking Warner Brothers. But at the same time, losing almost $10 billion for your stockholders, that's something they're going to go, what the fuck? And rightfully so, go, what the fuck? So I think Zaslav, I think his goose is like, I don't know what's past cooked. Broiling on fire,
like, on fire, like in ash.
Yeah, but he needs to get his shit together. And look, y'all, what's so funny is I still remember when he got announced as like the new head of Warner Brothers, and I had so many people going like, Hunter, you're being a hater. He's gonna do like so much for, and I'm like y'all, like I'm gonna tell y'all, if you start going through my predictions on stuff, I hit a lot more than I miss. And I know people like don't like that, but it's true. I hit way more than I missed. I told y'all that the motherfucker who greenlit Honey Boo Boo was not someone you wanted running fucking Warner Brothers. And now look at what's going on.
It's where we are.
Like, look what I told y'all. So, the only thing I will say in terms of Warner Brothers is it seems like a new deal with AEW, All Elite Wrestling, is right around the corner. As someone who won't watch WWE because of the Vince McMahon shit and all that, I'm really excited for that. I'm sure that's probably gonna be something that's announced in the next probably in the next month. I'd say they would announce that. Look who's here, half hour late.
Right on time.
I need to start treating
awful. I look. I've been working all morning. I really thought I would finish everything on time.
You look gorgeous as always, Canada. Thanks for joining. Thanks for joining us. I need to start treating Canada like my gay friends and start telling them like an hour ahead so that I give them like that hour buffer. So actually be here on time.
Like, but I'm on Mountain Time and he's on Eastern Time. I have 3 hours. Not correct. It's not correct.
But good. Thanks for joining us, man. Great to see you.
Thanks for the invite. I always appreciate your invites.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, dude. It's always a joy. So what I'll say about that's something I will add to the soapbox here before we throw it to Canada. All these companies now that are getting busted for raising their prices during lockdown and during the height of the pandemic, and people going like, wait, they manipulated prices. It's like, why are you surprised at this point? This is what companies do. Like, I saw an article yesterday about how Disneyland attendance is low, like the lowest it's been like a decade, and how that's a big red flag for the economy. It's like, no, Disney has always overcharged consumers and has always underpaid their park performers. So maybe what this is a big giant sign to go ahead and actually give people who work in the fucking parks a living wage, like, so they're not working multiple jobs, and maybe, just maybe, Disney should stop being dicks. Like, that's what I think it's a sign of. It's not a sign of like the economy being like struggling. It's like, no, you should actually be paying these people. I'm blanking on the name of it, but there's actually a documentary about people who like worked or have worked in Disneyland, and how they have to have like 2 or 3 jobs just to make ends meet, and some, like, several of them are like on food stamps and shit. And it's like, so that's not how it should be. I mean, in the same way that you should be a teacher and not have to fucking Uber on weekends, like, you should be able to work at fucking Disneyland and not have to go ahead and have a second job. So all these people acting like this is some like black cloud over the economy. No, it's the fact that you're exploiting workers and you're exploiting people and trying to pay them the absolute bare minimum, and then expecting people to go ahead and work as hard as they do. And this is coming from someone who is currently fucking unemployed right now. So I'm telling, by the way, the nerve, like, oh man, I had someone reach out to me. I'll be nice and won't mention the company, but they were like, hey, like, key account position. And I was like, oh, okay, like, yeah, key account, sure, I'd be down for that. Like, what does it start at? Oh, it starts at like $18 an hour. I'm like, kiss my ass for a key account position. I'm like, fuck no. I'm like, no. Like, I'm worth way more than that, by the way. It's like $18 an hour. Like, most jobs, and I'm not kidding when I say this, like, whether it's McDonald's, whether it's Marshall's, if you're working with the public, 20 should be your floor. Because to work with the public is exhausting as fuck, number one. Number two, you have to clean up after the public, and the public are fucking disgusting. So, yeah, your floor should be $20. Oh, yeah, and maybe just another thing about what's fucking up the economy, maybe it's the fact that the minimum wage hasn't gone up in, like 25, 30 fucking years. So that's another thing. Like, me, so just throw that out there. All right. I could soapbox all day, so I'm gonna throw it to Canada. Is there anything you need to get off your chest? Anything you need to rant about?
Can we have more sitcoms? I miss sitcoms, but not sitcoms from when I was a kid. I don't want to hear Netflix be like, "We got 3 new sitcoms," and me be like, "Ooh," and it's step by step. They're all old and melting, but now they have kids. Damn. I'm like, I'm good. I'm good on that. Thanks.
I like
no more 90s show or Fuller House.
Oh,
Right. Like, 90s show makes me feel sad because I'm like, that's not
Mhm.
how I remember it. But
Yeah.
I was alive then.
that
Oh
90s
no.
that 90s show's kind of a trip because it's amazing how that first season they're like, oh hey look, it's it's Jackie and Kelso and Fez, and then that documentary came out and they're like, oh look, Eric and Donna, they're still around. Like,
Of
what
all the
happened?
people,
Yeah.
not to be like going to bat for something nefarious and gross, Topher Grace said, I'm gonna pass
Yeah.
on that 70s family. Topher Grace, who
Oh,
everyone's like,
man.
he's so stuck up, he's so hard to work with, is the one with the morals. That is,
Yeah.
life is
He's
crazy.
great.
Life is wild.
Love it.
You just can't really judge a book by his cold, leave me alone stare.
One thing we have to keep in mind too is like when that 70 show was on, that was like the start, like the earliest start of like social media too. So we didn't have all these people like doing research and putting these things together and all that because I remember, I mean I think I remember like being in like a senior when I found out that how old was Mila Kunis when she joined the show? Oh shit, she was 14, like 14. Like what the
Yeah.
fuck? Also, by the way, seriously, casting agents, you can ask for a birth certificate or an ID or like so when they were like, we had no idea she was 14. I was like really? You didn't? Like
I can't read this. It's all
Yeah.
strange and the A's are upside down.
But it's like I tried to watch that 90s show. I think I watched like 2 or 3 episodes, and I think knowing what went on with most of that cast, like there's just a level of grossness to it that I can't, like, I we've talked about this on the show before, where where your line is between like oh god, I'm blanking on what you can consume, and not feel guilty about it. I'm blanking on the term, but yeah, that 70s show, like Buffy. Buffy is one of my favorite shows ever. Like I fucking love that show. Season 3 of Buffy, with where they introduce Eliza Dushku, where they introduce her and with Angel and all that. That's one of my favorite seasons of TV ever. I can never go back and watch Buffy anymore because of what Joss Whedon was accused of on that show. Like it's just it's a blind spot for me that I personally artistically just can't look past. And it sucks because that's a show I would have loved to show my partner, and I'm just like, like I can't watch it. It sucks, but I can't. That 70 show, it's teetering on that line for me now, because I can watch because just as a nerd, I can watch Eric and be like, like Eric's funny, but then like once I see Kelso and Jackie, and like I used to identify so much with Hyde, and now I'm just like, that can't do that.
Don't do that.
Yeah, like don't want to do that. So it's a bummer, but I actually agree with you. I like sitcoms. Like
More sitcoms.
Like there's a new like Reba has a new sitcom coming out in October, and I'm hyped for it. I'm like,
her first sitcom was really funny.
Yeah, like Reba's
one of those entertaining.
Yeah, Reba's one of those shows that's so like, I think my big deal with sitcoms is like the abuse aspect of it, because you obviously have to keep the show going. But like rewatching The Office, that's become more triggering because it makes me think about like all the times like my past jobs have been like, oh hey, that's really bad or problematic, and then they just brush it aside, and it's like, oh oh, that's not funny at all. Like why wouldn't someone be in huge trouble for this? And Reba's kind of the same way for me. Like I can watch maybe 3 to 4 episodes of Reba before I have to kind of like put a kibosh on it, because so much of that show is like, Brock cheated on you, but come on, he's your kid's dad. It's like, why does she have to just be like a duck and just let the shit roll all the time? And then
exactly.
And the amount of times that Barbara Jean is like not even crossing, but jumping over boundaries, it's just like, okay, this is this should be a 2-episode show. Like the first episode, Reba goes like, I need to kill Brock and Barbara Jean, and then like the second episode, she actually kills Brock and Barbara Jean because they're terrible to her. Like the more that show goes on, the worse Brock kind of gets. And like I'm not one of those like, oh, men are terrible, like, you know, like Swiftie fans are, but I won't lie. That's one of those cases where I'm like, man, if you cut his dick off in the middle of the night, I wouldn't even be mad at you. I'd be like, fair enough. You kind of deserve this shit. Like it's such a weird show.
I just like all sitcoms. Like by season, I haven't seen all of The Office. I'll admit to that because I thought Steve Carell was hilarious. I think Rain the guy playing Dwight Schrute. What's his name?
Yeah, Rainn Wilson. Yeah.
Oh, it is Rainn Wilson. Great. Yeah, he's hilarious. But like by season 2, I'm like, Jim and Pam are kind of horrible, huh? And you know, by season 2, a lot of people are like, no, they're not. Hashtag relationship goals. But then I had friends that made it all the way to like season 7, 8, 9, and on, and they're like, oh my gosh, Brad, you'll never guess what? Jim and Pam are fucking awful. I'm like, oh, all right then, cool.
The moment Jim buys Pam a house without talking to her
Not even
about
talking to her,
it is
gross.
When I was like, oh, like even me at 20 was like, dude, that is like not something you do. Like I was talking to, like, we were watching that episode and I looked over at Alea and I even told her, I was like, I would never do something without consulting you. She was like,
buy a purse without consulting.
Dude, right. Okay. So like I'll do stuff like that just because like Alea hates shopping for purses and stuff like that. And she trusts me on stuff like that.
Yeah.
Plus I like putting outfits together because that, you know, that's one of my things. But yeah, like buying a purse versus buying a house, that is like
big difference.
Yeah, like Canada, you've been married for what, like 20 years?
Almost.
Right?
Yeah.
Almost 20?
18.
Oh my god, that's amazing. God,
yeah.
God, go me. I was like doing the kid math. I was like, wait, if carry the one, like, like that's how I got to 20. Actually, I'm proud of myself. Go me. But I know you would never. I don't think you'd buy a car without talking to Amy. Like you'd be like,
never.
Yeah, so like a house. Yeah, it's such a
house is so sentimental. That's where all your memories go and where your future life experiences. He took away the entire first steps of the process of this will be our life together. He just took it from her.
Wow.
And the writers on The Office had no freaking idea. Like, let's not throw. I don't want to throw like too many people under the bus. I can see John Krasinski with his CIA attitude right now buying a house without telling him. Like, but the other writers on The Office, like, what happened? Like, how could you not know that? Huh.
Yeah,
that was around the time where everyone was like, "Oh, I can't wait till Pam cheats on Jim. That'll be a fun arc." And I'm like, "That's not going to happen. Why? What? Did it?
No, it didn't. Jim, like they set up this girl to kind of cheat with Jim, and he doesn't. Which, by the way, as a guy, guys, I'll give you a free piece of advice here. If a woman tries to cheat on you or cheat with you while you're in a relationship, tell your partner immediately, because that is one of those female things where they'll be like, well, actually, he seduced me, and then it's a he said, she said, and you're fucked. So it's like, no, you go right to your partner and you resolve that shit, because as someone who's been there, it's not fun playing that game. So just rat them out, dime them out. Like, no, don't pull that shit. But to your point though, Brad, you're right in the sense of Jim ends up taking this job in like Philadelphia and not telling Pam, and like does that job like in secret. Weird. Yeah, does that job in secret for like 2 months, and then she finds out about it and they have a fight. And I remember Office fans were like, "Oh my god, this is so sad." I'm like, he should have just told her. Like, why? Why is this? Like this?
It's like a 10-second thing. Taking a job in Philadelphia. Just wanted you to know.
Yeah, it's like
how long was that? Was that even 10 seconds?
Yeah, it's like this makes me much happier than selling paper. Printers at the time, because they got bought out by a printer company.
And he never seemed like a character that wouldn't speak his mind. Is the weird thing.
Yeah, Jim,
especially to Pam.
You know what's funny? Jim is pretty much how I feel like at all my jobs, where I'm just like, okay, like what can I like? How can I make this fun, but also put in like a decent amount of effort, but still hit my numbers? Like, how can I balance all three of these things that I want? And yeah, but by the time that show ends and Andy becomes the boss, like that show just runs out of steam. It just kind of craters, unfortunately. Like a lot of sitcoms do, honestly.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
You know, like once you start introducing kids, that's where you've kind of like lost the thread, you know. But like Modern Family is actually pretty great all the way through for the most part. Modern Family.
Well, the kids were able to.
How about to say that's the
lives is why
that's
it
the
worked.
secret to start with kids.
Yeah, exactly. There you go.
All those kids are like scene stealers. So
that's true. I will say though, it was very hilarious for me for them to be like, hey, look at Ariel Winter, isn't she ugly? And then by like season like 7, 8, you're like, oh wow, you're like
they couldn't keep that up at all.
You're like, oh, the girl
she was never ugly. Like it's horrible.
I know. I mean, it's.
But no, you both are right. Like she's like, I'm the cute, sexy sister, and here's my ugly sister.
Yeah,
and everyone watching's like, that's your ugly sister.
It's like, okay,
that's what always makes me feel. That's what always makes me feel old, though. Is like I reviewed. I haven't even posted them yet. I don't even remember why. Oh, that's right, because Netflix put out a new one. They put out like a new Spy Kids movie, so I went through and watched all of like the old Spy Kids films, and it was so weird watching like Alexa Vega as like, you know, a 7-year-old kid, and then seeing her like Machete. I'm like, holy shit! I'm like, what? Like, what happened to you? like, and now
Robert Rodriguez, why'd you do this?
Right, and now fucking the kid Junie, Daryl's I can't remember his last name, but he's married to fucking lame ass like Meghan Trainor now, which is really weird. Why, man? So I never got it with her. I never understood why Meghan Trainor was a thing. She have you heard that song, Dear Future Husband? That is like the creepiest fucking song.
I've only ever heard the she's all about that bass, right? With no trouble.
Which always
I heard that one,
like,
and I thought that was it. And
minutes done. She kept doing.
I don't hate the song. It's nice that people feel good about themselves. But how's the future husband go? I mean, I'm just going to pop into some lyrics.
Yeah. Feel free to look up the lyrics. Like, so basically, there's multiple points where she basically gaslights the husband to basically being like, "Sex is a reward, so you better do these things." And I was like, "Oh, cool." So we're starting off with that. Like, she's just if man, there's no part of you that wants to be married to Meghan Trainor, maybe let alone in general after reading those lyrics. Like,
I don't know, man. I saw, like, it's funny you mentioned, I saw a clip. I don't know where she was performing, but I don't know the actor's name, so I'm gonna call him by Spy Kids name. Junie was there, and he was like, he seemed like the happiest person ever. He was like hyping her up and like dancing along to her choreo and shit, and like helping her with posters. He just seemed like very happy to be Meghan Trainor husband.
I mean, I would like to counter by saying, you know, people were happy around Diddy about a year ago, and it's so. I mean,
are we comparing Meghan Trainor to TJ?
I'm just saying, like, you know, like looks can be deceiving. That's all I'm saying.
Okay, fair enough.
But yeah, like it's such a weird song. Like, it's very weird. I think in general, I think that's why music in general for me is just kind of weird. Like, I trust Brandon and Jamarco. Shout out to Jamarco. I pretty much stick with the artists I like. I'll veer out and, you know, I might discover, like, I discovered Casey Musgraves. I was so happy I discovered her.
I love her.
She's amazing. She's one of the few country. I actually posted yesterday, like, that country music sucks. It does, by the way. And I had like 3 or 4 friends actually recommend some country artists that I've actually checked out. I actually thought, I was like, oh, these are actually pretty good. But for my big issue with country is that we've hit this like Jason Aldean. Fuck Jason Aldean, by the way. You know, he's the one who did that. You wouldn't try that in a small town, like, you know, it's you city people who are ruining things and Black Lives Matter. Why are you marching? Black people are great. Like you're like what is a small town ever done to black people that would warrant you being upset? But it's like that shit, and like Florida Georgia line, like that bro country that just makes me want to put a gun in my mouth. I fucking hate all of that like that.
Bo Burnham has like a great song about making fun of that.
That is what so that song is basically what country music is to me at this point. Like it's all that look at that red cup. Oh, don't ignore that it's fizzing. It's fine. it's fine. We're gonna drink and talk about Jesus and the good America. It gives me that vibe, and it's just it's very uncomfortable.
What Jesus does country music believe in these days? Do we know?
The one wearing Levi jeans. And
yeah, exactly. The one that they can exploit. I think that's the short
holding
answer.
the Miller Lite with the so you can see
it. Like a Dale Gribble hat and
exactly.
wearing a Von Dutch hat. Yeah,
that's always a tricky one. All right, I read the Meghan Trainor lyrics. This is just someone who's never been married before. That's all. That's fine.
The lyrics are like when you hear her talk, like the whole sex thing being a reward.
Oh, yeah, a newlywed for like 2 years, sometimes way less actually. I've only been married to the one person the one time, but yeah, after 2 years, I think nothing was solved by sex anymore. Like compromise, deep discussion. And she won't have all the problems that her fans will be listening to. Like she's like, I work a 9 to 5. Like, okay, millionaire, calm down.
Yeah. It's like yeah. It's like
don't tell me that I have to cook. Of course not. Why would you ever tell someone you live with they have to cook when your personal chef like went to frickin' Juilliard of knives and sauces? Come on now.
But see, like everything you're pointing out is like the same issue I have with like Beyonce's If I Were a Boy, where it's just like, oh man, men never go ahead and like support their friends. Yeah, actually we do. And oh no, but men are always the ones that cheat. That's not true at all. Like Beyonce, who are you? Like I think Beyonce
like Lemonade was a trip.
But Lemonade is like the refined version of If I Were a Boy. Like If I Were a Boy is her just bitching about men and which has always kind of been my issue with Beyonce in general. It's like, all right,
good market, man.
like oh no, it absolutely is. And it fucking look, I've been in enough black salons to know that shit plays.
Yeah,
so I get it. Like the playbook is there, but the song is disingenuous as fuck and actually quite problematic because it's like, if I was talking, anyways, I don't want the beehive coming after me. I already got Swifties and Barbs yelling at me.
Didn't you see Swarm?
I did.
You're not gonna make it.
Yeah, Swarm's a great show, by the way, for y'all if you haven't seen it. Before I go, we go ahead and get to reviews proper. Just real quick shout outs here. I went ahead and did a stream on Wednesday about some about films that I'm really liking so far this year. We're not through the year yet, obviously, so my best worst stuff will not obviously be solidified until like January. But we want to shout out a couple films real quick that y'all should check out. Monkey Man, that is streaming on Peacock. If you have not checked out Monkey Man, seriously, check out fucking Monkey Man. It's fucking wonderful. Check out Late Bloomers, which stars Karen Gillan. A movie that's borderline a miracle because she is such a bitch at points in that movie. She's actually unattractive, which I never thought I would say about Karen Gillan. So props to the screenwriter and the director on that. Femme, which is a film about a drag queen who goes ahead and gets beat up and then goes ahead and targets their abuser for revenge. Great fucking movie. In the vein of something like The Last House of the Left, but for LGBTQ is how I kind of put it. Like it gets dark and it actually asks some very interesting questions between between kink and fetishes versus revenge and where that balance kind of lies. Like it's a very interesting film. I think that's going to be something, especially if you're a member of the LGBTQ community or you do drag. I think that's something that's going to hit you like right where you live. I think that will be something that really speaks to you. So check that out. Midas, which is this film about three friends that go ahead and try to rob a healthcare provider and discover something much more sinister underneath what they're doing. TJ Noel Sullivan, first-time director, wrote and directed that and knocked it out of the park. I'm gonna have my interview with them and review for that up on Monday. Definitely check that out. And I know I've shouted this movie out before because I'm just big fans of the director and the main actress, but the film Trust, which deals with a death in a family, some Succession type twists and turns, makes you question what you think about grief, what you think about legacy. First-time director Almog Avedon Antonir absolutely nailed it, and then actress Jennifer Levinston absolutely kills the role. I think you can rent it on Prime for like $3. It's well worth $3 people. So check those films out; they're well worth your time. All right. Now that we got business out of the way and soapbox corner out of the way, let's get to our first review proper, which is Batman Caped Crusader. It's funny we were talking all this shit about these about Warner Brothers.
Yeah, we were,
and we're reviewing two Warner Brothers things.
Hey, technically they fucked up still because this is on Amazon when it could have been on Max.
So yeah, we have to talk about that. So I don't know why this isn't on Max. It's very dumb. It should just be on Max. The fact it's on Prime Video is really stupid. But this is just another case of Max going like, can we sell this to someone? And so Prime Video went ahead and bought it. Yeah, it really should just be on Max. I studios doing this thing where they're like the NFL's doing it, the NBA's doing it. It's already pissing me off. Where they're like, oh, if you want to watch our games, you can watch it on TNT or maybe Max or maybe Prime Video or maybe Netflix or maybe it's like stop spreading your assets. Like I should be able to watch everything in one fucking spot. So when they said that they were gonna do this, I was curious. I was like, okay, this looks like in the same vein of something like like the original series, of course, which is legendary at this point. This has heavy hitters behind it though. It's got Matt Reeves as the producer. Matt Reeves, God bless you, sir. Pretty much whatever you do moving forward, I'm there day one. It has J.J. Abrams as a producer, which admittedly would be a much bigger deal if this was 5 years ago. And
he has his fingers in everything.
He doesn't really
nowadays.
miss that often when he produces, though.
Yeah.
When he produces, yes, that is
he's
true.
pretty good.
Yeah. But it's like, I'll be real, man. I'm still feeling kind of burned by Rise of Skywalker. Like that's still fresh enough in my mind that I'm like, well, I know it's bad because whenever. And I've talked about this on the show. Like I'll throw on a movie or a show for the cats, like as they start to take their nap. And every now and then Disney Plus is like Rise of Skywalker, and I'm always like, they deserve better. It's like maybe Rogue One or Solo, but honestly, as much as I talk about it, I'd probably put on Last Jedi for cats and before I put on Rise of Skywalker, just because like Rise of Skywalker being the wrap up. But
I think that's its biggest fail is like, this is the wrap up. No more Rey, no more Finn, no more Poe. But Kennedy, Feige, who's not directly involved, Favreau are like, oh, okay, yeah,
sure,
we'll never see these characters again.
Wink. Yeah, it's very.
So a wrap up movie just doesn't work in Star Wars, and I know that's giving it a lot of grace because so much more of it sucks than. They tried to wrap it up, and you can't wrap up Star Wars.
Yeah, I will say though, if Rise of Skywalker doesn't exist, Bradley doesn't get to say Palpatine fucks in that joke. It's like
that's the best thing.
The fact that Star Wars canon continues to prove Bradley right years later that Palpatine indeed does fuck. Yeah. Like it almost makes it almost makes it worth it. Like it's a
I'm just so bummed that I think Robot Chicken ended before Rise of Skywalker, but I would have loved to see Seth MacFarlane or Seth. Is it Seth MacFarlane who does Palpatine's voice?
And Seth Green.
He does.
Yeah. I would love to just see him be like, "Oh my gosh, that honey's looking at me. Just stay calm. I'll be your wingman." You know, and just to
honestly, Robot Chicken doing the
actually hits on a girl.
Great.
Fair. Yeah. But I will say, going into this, so I got this. I was lucky. Amazon sent me a screener of this like a month ago, so I've had to shut the fuck up and not say anything because the contracts that I'm starting to sign on these screeners are getting a lot more threatening. I'm not hinting at shit. I'm just like not saying a word. So I actually went back and rewatched it over the last couple days just because I was like, let me see if let's just kind of refresh. And I will say, I love stuff where it feels like a spiritual successor to something that I already love. And I will say, I like my Batman with tall ears. I just like that design. Like I like a tall-eared Batman.
Yeah.
And I love gray suit Batman. I wish we would actually get more gray suit. And when I say gray suit, I don't mean that abomination that Affleck was wearing. I mean, like, I don't want like it to look like a sidewalk. Like I want like a sleek gray suit, yellow or black logo. Like the suit that they have here for this show, I fucking love the suit. I love the color. I love the color differentiations of the suit. I love the buckle being yellow. Like I love these little things that actually accent. And I actually like that the show doesn't spend like 3 days talking about his parents getting killed. Like we don't even like, we kind of see it, but it's like it's just enough so that but it's not enough. Like by the way, no slow-mo of his parents getting killed, which
no pearls.
No pearls. Like oh my god, what a concept.
No,
like,
we see the pearls, just not, we don't see the murder. I'm glad we don't see the murder
pearls.
We do see the pearls.
Like we don't see the pearls drop in dramatic fat. Like y'all, I between Joker and BVS, like that shot, I just never need to see that shot again. Like that's just kind of, I'm kind of broken on that shot in particular. I don't need to see the and the pearls fall. I don't need to see that shit ever again. So thank you, show, for not doing that.
So funny. BVS Jeffrey Dean Morgan, is that Thomas?
Yeah.
I love how he like squares up against a man with a gun. Like,
it's just great. He's gonna fucking do it.
This is why guns were invented. What are you gonna do?
It's kind of like the whole Charlie Mack debate.
Not even a run wife. He just squares up and is all like,
yeah, no, exactly.
Got my Dempsey roll going. I think this is gonna work out, Brucey.
Like
it's the whole It's Always Sunny Mac Charlie debate with the knife versus the gun versus the sword. It's like boom, boom, boom. Like I'm like the gun's gonna win each time. Yeah. It's fucking ridiculous. But but to get into what I liked about the show, I like when we actually get Batman leaning into the Bruce Wayne persona and like being the playboy. That's actually something about the Nolan films I wish we would have gotten more after the first one. Because Begins is very much like him being like, oh, look at me swim in the fountain, look at me just be like like being a douche, like let's call it what it is, like being a douchebag, but keeping up that camouflage. And I appreciate that there is someone very early on who just goes, oh yeah, that's cute, it's bullshit, like I know this is bullshit, I know that you're putting up a front. And what I'll say, just to jump in here, I fucking adore the tweak on the Rogues Gallery, because Batman, I think, has the second best Rogues Gallery of anyone in comics. Yes, fuckers, I'm putting Spider-Man 1. I don't want to hear that. I don't want to hear this, oh, the Joker's the best. Read some more Norman Osborn and get back to me. But I love Batman's Rogues Gallery. Full spoilers, by the way. So actually, I'll kind of get my biggest complaint out of the way now. We have to do the Joker. we have to do the Joker again, and it's just
Yeah.
like
You do.
I
Kinda
get it.
don't.
Like
It's just a tease, right? I mean, it's.
I come on, Brad. Like as
I would have
as
preferred like maybe a Joker by season 3, but
that's kind of
Yeah.
where I'm
Do
at.
the
Like,
tease
I
at the
don't-
end of season 2.
yeah, like I didn't need Joker this early. And the fact, like, I'll be real, I would have loved like replace the Joker tease, replace that shit with a Court of Owls tease. Like, do that. Like, I don't need
they
Joker.
kind of foreshadowed that is what's so strange. Not in like a big grandiose way, but in a lot of Batman media, you know, you hear someone say the cops are in the pockets, that you can't trust them, and it's all like, okay, whatever. But this show actually goes into the logistics of what it means for a cop to be in a pocket, and I'm like, oh my god, are they? Is this like breadcrumbs for Court of Owls later
That's
on?
what I was thinking.
I even thought so with like the mentions of like old Gotham and like people like the founders and all that kind of stuff. So like I thought they were leaning that too, but
and then no, they just go nope Joker, and I just kind of went, well, fuck. I was like, I was more intrigued by this story over here that I feel like you were telling, and then it honestly it felt like a studio note. Like it felt like they were like, all right,
you gotta have Joker. Like, you can't have Batman.
Yeah, it really felt like they were like, all right, Court of Owls, let's go. And then the studio's like, yeah, so where's Joker in this? And they're like, well, like he's not in it. We're gonna do Court of no. Like you need to put Joker in here somewhere. And that's the thing, like there's no real tease at all of the Joker throughout the whole season. Like there's no laughing gas, there's no Acme, like there's no, you know, Ace Chemicals, there's no there's nothing like that. And so when they do it, I just felt, oh, that's really shoehorned in, and I don't like that you did that. And I actually honestly kind of took the wind out of my sails a little bit. I was actually a little pissed off. I was like, oh, all right, like I think one reason why it doesn't bother me in the Batman is because at least you're in Arkham, so at least you can go like, well, of course he'd be here because the fucker's insane. So and him actually talking to the Riddler unnerved me. I was like, oh, okay, this actually, like, all right, this could at least be something you can go back and revisit, but also potentially put on ice for the second film until like the last, you know, unless you want to do it as a mid-credit or whatever. Like, okay, fair enough. But here it did just feel so forced in a way that I was like, oh, you had such great momentum independent of this. You didn't need this. Outside of that, I'm gonna be honest, y'all, I don't really have a complaint about this. I kind of love the Rogue of the Week aspect that they take with this. I think the story of I don't want to get who voiced him here. Diedrich Bader, who voices Harvey Dent,
a previous Batman himself.
Yeah, I was like, oh shit, let's go.
There's a fun little Brad has OCD and a bizarre memory about that. In Frank Miller's The Dark Knight Returns, the Harvey Dent chapter, and it involves Harvey getting surgery and his face is fixed, but Batman stops him because it turns out that a fixed face didn't take away his criminal mind. So he kicks his ass and Harvey's down there and he's like, well, the sides match. What do you see, Batman? Look at me and tell me what you see now that I'm not Two-Face anymore. And, you know, it's very dramatic because that's how Frank Miller writes. And Batman says, I see a reflection, Harvey, a reflection. And my OCD brain is like, oh, hey, Diedrich Bader's played both of them. That's an interesting context.
That's good.
So one of my favorite 2-part episodes is the Two-Face episode from the Batman the Animated Series. That shit is tragic. Like I remember as a kid watching that. So I was like 7, 8 when Batman Animated Series came on, and I remember that I can't remember the girl's name. I think I feel like it's not Clarice. I feel like I'm going Silence of the Lambs, but like, but I'll just say I'm sorry, name here. But like, I remember when like she sees him and she like faints and like the lightning strike hits the wood. It's just like, oh my god, like it's such a badass 2-parter. And And I'll say too, playing Batman, the Telltale series, the way that you get that Two-Face emerges is so fucking cool. And it's just like, god damn. And in here, I love the fact you don't see it. I love the fact it's very much like you don't always need to show everything. Like, and I've talked about this with I know I'm gonna go this right. I've talked about this with Hawkeye and that fucking that fucking whistle he does and how he goes, it's Nat's whistle, and I'm like, shut the fuck up, trust your audience. God, like I hate when studios do that. Is my biggest peeve. And the fact that the show doesn't do that, it doesn't show him the acid in the face. It just goes, it happened. He's having trouble remembering it, and that's all you need to know. And I went, thank you. I was like, thank you for trusting your audience and not spoon feeding me. You don't always need to show everything. Sometimes it's actually better when you don't show everything, so you let your audience fill in the gaps. And I love that they did that. And the way you see him break down at this restaurant when him and Bruce are talking, it is some shit where he's just like, man, I should cut that bastard's face right off. And Bruce is like, whoa, like easy, Harvey. But Canada, I'll throw it to you, man. Like, what were you? I know you didn't watch the trailer for this because you hate trailers. But what were you?
Hate trailers.
You were not a fan. What were you? What did you think when you initially like started this watch?
Well, I enjoyed it pretty much from episode 1 on. I have lots of silly nitpicks that don't matter, but episode 1 on, I'm like, okay, Penguin's a thick lady with a beautiful singing voice. All right.
Yeah.
Kind of hot.
Yeah,
my kids are all like, she's got a big pointy nose. She's got a penguin nose. And I'm like, oh, you understand when you're older.
Damn.
But it wasn't just so much a drastic change of that character. It was at the same time not. When shit hits the fan for Penguin, for Cobblepot, and she's got her boys down there, and she's like, all right, one of you betrayed me, so one of you got to pay. And neither of these boys knows exactly what they means, but they know it's no good.
Yeah, exactly.
And then when we find out what it means, I'm like, holy shit, that's the spirit of Cobblepot. And so few words and so few details. And she was fantastic. And I was just intrigued from then on, like, what other big changes are they going to make without tarnishing the spirit of the character? I'd say Harleen Quinzel's my favorite because she's incredibly good at her job. For her to be Harley Quinn completely removed from the Joker, I didn't think you could do that. But they did it. And it's fantastic.
Yeah. So let's talk about her, because that's probably my biggest I don't even want to say axe to grind. So she is voiced by Jamie Chung, which sup girl. Oh my god. that woman. Like ever since I remember seeing her in Veronica Mars and being like, wow, she is charming and gorgeous. Like I hope she goes on and do other shit. And I feel like everyone forgets this. She was on that X-Men show, The Gifted. She played Blink, and she was actually probably the best thing about that goddamn show. But no one remembers The Gifted was even a fucking thing.
I missed it completely.
Yeah. But she was great on Dexter New Blood too. Like she's a great fucking actress. And I think my biggest like damn moment I had watching this is I've talked about my incredible fear of clowns, how clowns scare the shit out of me. I fucking hate clowns. I hate them. But also I have a huge thing for Harley Quinn. Like any cosplayer that does Harley Quinn, just God bless you. But then as I'm watching this but as I'm watching this show, I'm like, not only would I date Harley Quinn if I knew what she was doing, so that's number one, which I think speaks volumes to my level of fuck.
Yeah.
But also the way that she is like manipulating these people, like using their like kind of similar to Dexter, like using these psych sessions to see if they're actually learning shit and kind of being judged, jury, and executioner based on that. I was like, damn, that is a great twist on her. One thing I've always like, you'll have to remind me, Brandon. I can't. I always get it confused if it's Rebirth or New 52, where basically DC was like, oh yeah, Harley isn't a credible psychiatrist. She actually just slept her way to the top. And I remember just going like, oh, is that
probably
Rebirth?
New 52?
I think that was New 52.
Because I think Rebirth was like, no, she's forget all that.
But yeah, New 52 just goes like, yep, she was a slut. That's how she got a prominent position. It's like, God, DC, you're the worst sometimes. And then they rightfully so pulled the 180 when fans were like, that's sexist and terrible as fuck. And they're like, oh, ha ha ha, we were kidding. Actually, she's the best. And to Brad's point, after Josh from the afternoon, Hunter wants that clownacy. I guess clownacy. Jesus. But to Brad's point, it's so cool when they're actually able to do Harley shit independent of the Joker, because she's always so tied to him. And it's like, no, you can have her do her own shit. Gotham City Sirens proves that alone. And she's great in this. I love the change in her costume. Like it's got, you know, the like the core of the character, but is also insanely dark. Like insanely dark with how the guy dressed as a giant baby who says puddin'. I was like, oh wow, that actually, like, that's one of those things where like I have those high moments where I'm like, oh wow, I'm gonna put this down for a few minutes. I was like, oh, don't like that, but there, yeah, I loved her portrayal, and I will probably get her back in season 2, but I love what they did with her. And to Brad's point, loved what they did with the Penguin too, because that was just that was a nice change up. Brandon, I'll throw it to you, man. What were you kind of? I know you watched the trailer. What were you kind of expecting going into this, and what did you think?
Oh man, well, you know me, I'm like, if there's something animated and it's about superheroes, I'm gonna be like on it, like white on rice. So like I was sticking with this until like I, you know, knew about the Amazon change and everything. And like I was hooked. Like I loved the original series. I like that this is going for that same kind of aesthetic and like sticking with the more with the 40s and mystery detective aspect.
Okay.
And so yeah, I was in from the start. I love like this voice cast. Hamish Linklater as Bruce Wayne Batman is the fave of mine. Shout out Midnight Mass if you haven't seen that show. He's fantastic in it. As the priest that is totally not doing nefarious things.
What a concept in this world,
right? But no, yeah, I love this show. Like, I only watched like the trailer once. I was like, okay, that's enough. I was already hooked. I don't need to see anything else. But yeah, like just like you guys, I was hooked from the beginning. I love how this. God, is that thunder? Might be thundering by me. But I love how this show kind of hits the ground running. Like we're already in the middle of an investigation, in the middle of some shit. It feels like it feels like that in almost every episode. Or kind of just dropped in on like whatever Batman or Bruce or whatever the villain is up to this week. And I just like the pace of it. I like how this is it's episodic, but it's also like has this through line, like continuous story going on, especially with, you know, Harvey Dent's like mayoral campaign. But yeah, I dig every aspect of this show. We talked about it a little bit, but like the dirty cops, I love Bullock as like a Batman side character. So like them fully committing to him being a dirty little scumbag was really really cool for me.
So I will say one thing about this that really caught me off guard. Shout out to Red who dropped into the chat, who is doing a dream graphic novel that is like DC and Marvel, but it's set in the 1920s, which I'm like, yeah, let's fucking go. Cool. Like, yeah. One thing I love about this show, and we kind of talked about it, is that it kind of gives off those Incredibles vibes where it's like feels like it's set in the 60s. It never gives you any indication it's set in present day, which I really like. Actually, I was like, that's a nice like, because not everything needs to be set in present day. People like I would love a Black Lightning comic set like the 70s. Like
that'd be awesome.
Give me something like that, or you know.
But it reminds me of like what we got recently, like Fallout show, or just like stuff like that, where like
it's on my list. I got a lot.
Where like the time period is more like of an aesthetic, or like just stuck around. Like it's not like the exact time. It's just like, oh yeah, we like the 40 stuff, so we're just gonna keep doing this. We're just gonna not like really push forward, but like it's still got, like you said, Incredibles, that retro kind of future aspect of it, or retro past rather.
I do appreciate too, because Afternoon Tune just asked, he's like, what's your opinion of having lesbians in 40s style show? Do you think they should address something like that? I don't think you need to address it, but lesbians were around in the 40s, so I mean, it's like, you know, and
you should probably undress it.
Oh snap! but they even like pretty much right out the gate they address that Harley is like kind of like, it's kind of Captain Kirk in it, like she's kind of down for like she's kind of down for whatever. That's well done. God, I wasn't gonna say down on clown. I'm very that was quick. Props. Gold star for Canada. But I actually like that. I like the fact that they like because she kisses a girl. And she liked it.
And she liked it.
But actually, I like that how they.
Well, I think they do address it though, but you have to like pay attention, because Harley Quinzel has someone she's interested in, but she also has a friend that's a girl, and I think for a lot of young hetero males, especially, they're like, "What? Women can be friends, even though they like the same sex? Like it makes them go what?"
Right.
And that's huge education. And this friendship she has with, I'll just say Barbara, it's an unconditional friendship. That's what makes it, that the ending of that episode broke my heart, you guys.
Yeah.
It's quite tragic, honestly.
Yeah, it's super tragic. And Batman making the hard choices early on, that surprised me. Because so many, this is his first day, is like Batman being like, damn, I missed a clue. But this first day, Batman is all like, shit, a building exploded. I should have known that. And poor Alfred, tons of love towards Alfred, by the way. Jason Watkins, with his first syllables, I'm like, yes, they got Alfred right. I love this guy. But him being like, oh, building exploded, or oh no, 2 people are falling, and according to physics, because I'm the greatest detective, I can't carry 2 people in this split decision. I have to catch one of them, and that sucks for him.
It does.
I love that ending with him, where like she's crying and like he's like, I have to go, and he's like, I know, and then he's just like, I'm sorry. And then, like he's gone. I'm like, damn.
And this is something that Bruce is saying. The way that Hamish is delivering these lines, it's so fascinating, because a lot of the delivery is, this is the correct thing to say in this type of situation. But every once in a while, you can hear it in his voice and his performance. I actually believe what I'm saying now, whether he's Bruce or Batman. And that's kind of a degree that we don't get that often from vocal performances, to which this entire cast is fantastic.
So that is one thing I will say, and this is going to be me complimenting DC over Marvel, so everyone mark this statement. I know, because everyone just thinks I just fucking hate DC. Man, like listening to the voice acting of something like this versus What If.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying for everyone in What If, but also
one of my favorite Hamish Bruce things from, I'll just say Bruce right now, we all know who the actor is. One of my favorite vocal performances from him is episode 1, where I'm all like, oh, is he just doing Kevin Conroy best he can? I hate that. But then, he's on the boat and he falls off, and then he climbs up. And he turns to I think it's Montoya. It's Montoya or Barbara, and he's like,
it's Barbara.
It's not a party until someone falls off the yacht, right? And she like rolls her eyes and is like, whatever. And he turns to this other group of ladies and he's like, it's not a party until someone falls off the yacht, right? And when they laugh, he's like, nailed it.
Yeah, exactly. Like it's
perfect Bruce Wayne right there.
It's very much like that War Machine story in Age of Ultron where he's like, boom, yeah, there we go. Like,
yeah,
nailed it.
Like fuck y'all.
Know your audience.
I love that. Brandon, I want to piggyback off something you said though, where he's talking to Barbara after he lets Harley fall. He has this very Batman moment where he's like, your friendship with her like blinded you, and Barbara just goes, just shut up, shut up, and then he just has to stand there in that awkwardness. And I was like, and look, as someone who I even said this in the chat the other day, where it's like, would you rather have like sex daily or always be right? And I told Alea, I'm like, what the answer is, like, in your heart of hearts, I don't even need to tell. Like, I was like, oh yeah, always be right. But in that moment, it's one of those times where it's like, dude, that's one of those where you just need to shut the fuck up and not say anything. And I love that the show calls him on that, because Batman, like myself, loves being right. And there are those moments where it's like, dude, you just need to not right now. You need to just let this be. And in that moment, it's uncomfortable. It's uncomfortable, like, because he has to realize that in real time. She's grieving in real time. And then to Brad's point, he's just like, I have to leave because the cops are about to show up. And so he has to just leave her there in it. And you're just like, God damn. It's like, that is like, that's some heavy shit. I love, and I mean love, the fact we've talked about already, but John DiMaggio, props to you, man.
Always the best.
Like, to just like, he's been a really great voice actor in a lot of stuff. I mean, Adventure Time, obviously, notwithstanding. But you see, like, Bullock is always such a piece of shit. Like he's always so terrible. But the thing is, I love that, because given the corruption of the cops and how they lean into that, Bullock really needs to be a piece of shit, and he is a piece of shit in this shit. There's this point where Gordon is like, I'm gonna have your badges for something that they do, and he gets a call from the mayor going like, oh no, they're leading the Batman task force now, like, give them whatever resources they need. And him and his partner are like, oh, guess that call is about us. And you just see Gordon look at them like, God damn it, like, I hate you both so much. But Bullock, like, he kept being terrible. And like, and I've talked about this with Loki, TVA. I've talked about it with Loki. Not every villain needs to be redeemed. Like, like, that's one thing about the last Star Wars films. Like, I was like, I wanted Kylo Ren to be a piece of shit all the way through. Like, I don't need everyone to make the turn. Like, have someone be a monster. I actually kind of prefer, like, I love, like, and I have no doubt that he's going to be a piece of shit still through this. But that's one thing I love about Kingpin, is most of the time, Kingpin is just a bastard. Like you get why he does things, but he's kind of a dick just all the time, especially in this latest Avengers arc, where, oh my God, he is a dick and a half in that fucking arc. But I love Bullock just being a piece of shit and being willing to kill, like, kids and women, and like just having no shame about it. Yeah, I love that. It's like, give me more of that, and given the corruption of Gotham, and this is something that I love about the Batman, is that as you're watching the show, Gotham just feels like a really terrible place. Like, it just feels like a place you wouldn't want to live, like, at all. There's this great conversation that they have with, I think it's with Barbara, about how, like, oh, you didn't technically grow up in Gotham. You grew up, like, on the outskirts of Gotham, like the ritzy part of Gotham. And there is definitely that, there's definitely that sort of, entitlement, as far as like, oh, you didn't grow up here in the slums with us. And which, by the way, people, like, don't be dumb about that. If you have a chance to, like, I'm sorry, if someone was like, hey, Hunter, would you rather live in, like, Palm Springs or Compton? I'm gonna pick Palm Springs every time. The woman who voices Barbara too. Crystal Joy Brown, who oh, she was in Hamilton. She's Eliza. Oh, okay, that explains it. I was like, why
Okay,
is she
hell
so
yeah.
familiar? Stunning, by the way. Sup, ma'am. But also,
No,
great voice actress.
She's been a fantastic voice actress for a while now.
Yeah. So yeah, good for her. God, it's really funny. I always forget that those power shows are a thing. Like,
Yeah.
like so
Me
she's
too.
on Power Book 3. There's 3 books of power. Like, are you fucking? Anyways, but I like what they do with Barbara here too. I like the fact that she's a not a DA, but she's like a lawyer. I think that's an interesting like little change up to her character. Obviously, I hope she becomes Batgirl. Like, I hope we still, get there.
I can see it.
Given what they kind of do with her, it feels like we're potentially,
she needs to become
there.
more disillusioned first, and then she'll be ready for Batgirl.
She already feels like her dad's not taking care of herself, and the Batgirl persona would help her keep a better eye on that.
There you go.
And
she's got the cover of like, oh, that's Attorney General, what's some kind of attorney, Barbara Gordon. She's too good to be here in Gotham, so she already has like a great cover.
That's a fair point, actually.
And that's not her attitude. Her attitude is we should help people because they're in trouble, even pieces of shit. And Montoya's like, whoa, not everyone in Gotham's a piece of shit. And then Barbara's kind of like, are they? Aren't they though?
It's like, but not. It's like you say that, but they have this great conversation about cops, and about like kind of painting with painting in broad strokes. And I love that conversation because Barbara's right. She's 1,000% correct. She's like, yeah, these people might be pieces of shit who made a wrong decision, but I'm sorry, you get to go ahead and bury them under the jail, and yet cops get grace. And I was like, okay, show. I'm impressed you brought that up. And even you can tell even Gordon is kind of like, wait, what? It's like, yeah, she's right. She's 1,000% correct. Like, that's honestly one of the things about watching Beverly Hills Cop Axel F that I loved. How they're just kind of like, yeah, this shit where you just like steal someone's car like in the 80s, like that shit won't fly in 2024. It's like, yeah, nor should it. You shouldn't just be allowed to steal someone's car and go like, cop. But I love the way that they go ahead and talk about that. Couple other things I'm gonna throw out. Brandon just messaged me his power went out, so yeah, because I think so there are some thunderstorms over down in Texas, so send good vibes to everyone over in Texas. Please.
Ted Cruz is going to Mexico.
God, he probably is. Yeah, fucking goon. God, what I know we've set down the soapbox, but I'm saying, what a pathetic excuse for a man. Which is like to not care about your I believe his daughter's trans. Yeah, I believe his daughter's trans. But it's like to kiss the ass of a man who not only goes out, who's actively going after the rights of your daughter, but also talks about your partner being like an illegal immigrant. Like, really? Like, you kid, like that's the ass of someone your kid. Anyways, seriously, what a fucking douchebag, Ted. That's one guy. Ted Cruz, come on the Real Pineapple. Give me 5 minutes. Let's see how long you last before the power goes out and you never come on here again. Because I guarantee you it would not be longer than 5 minutes. But in closing, what I'll say is, this was one of those shows that it's always nice. It's always nice when, and let's be real, there's so many versions of Batman. There's Batman, there's the Batman, not just the movie, but the animated show, which is very underrated, by the way.
It is.
Batman. Yeah, the Batman's a lot of fun. Batman the Brave and the Bold, which I more people should watch that one, because that's a really fun mix of like fun Batman.
That's a really good entrance into just knowing about the DC universe because of all the team ups he has in Brave and the Bold.
which people like. Batman can be fun. Batman doesn't always have to be like I'm gonna slit my wrists and listen. Like you can have
Listen
fun
to
with
Nirvana,
Batman. Yeah, like it doesn't always need to be doom and gloom. But like there's a balance between the Adam West Batman and the Gothic Batman. Like there's a range in between.
Yeah. Between the Bat-Toozy and crucifying an innocent man because maybe he could be bad one day. Who knows?
Yeah, exactly. Like Batman, why'd you brand that guy? Well, he jaywalked.
Now everyone knows about it.
No one jaywalks in my city. But what for myself, I will say, the Joker thing's really my biggest complaint. I really hate that they did that, and I just thought, Bradley's frozen here, so hopefully he didn't lose.
Does my voice still come through?
Oh yeah, your voice is still coming through.
Okay,
so,
good.
Yeah. So people, he's frozen a little bit.
No, I want to talk about not just the Batmobile, but all the cars look kind of bad. I thought, but
you didn't really. You weren't a fan of the cars? Okay,
I wasn't a fan of the cars.
Talk about it.
They just look like rectangles, like gray, black, silver rectangles, and it's kind of dull.
So I got LA noir vibes from the cars, so I like the cars.
Sure,
that's
1940s gangster.
Yeah, like so I got those.
So
vibes
many characters were all like, "Yeah, I seen the Batman, cool car," or "Whoa, there goes the Batman, nice car," and I'm like, this is the worst Batmobile. It just looks like a black rectangle.
Oh, I like the Batmobile. It felt like it felt for me. For me, it felt like an updated version of the animated series. Like it felt like kind of almost like a mixture of the animated series one and kind of the Nolan one. It kind of had that like
the big tumbler.
Like the all black aesthetic. Like that's what I got. That's what I got out of it personally, but I enjoyed it. But what I'll say, as far as in closing, is I really enjoyed the show. I had a lot of fun with the show. The Joker thing, the Joker thing really did bother me. That is like my one. That is like my one gripe. I'm gonna Canada. I'm gonna remove you real quick and then add you back on because you're still frozen.
Okay.
So hey, I'll add you back. But I really enjoyed this. I enjoyed this a lot, and I think that if you're a fan of Batman, this is something that's going to be right up your alley. I would give this a solid A. I'd go with an A on this. I enjoyed it. It's on Prime Video. It's 10 episodes, half hour a pop. Brandon's back. Hooray. And Bradley is currently just a black box. But
what did I miss?
Does my voice come out of the void though?
Oh yeah, your voice is coming out.
Okay.
So
I don't know what's going on. I probably have to delete a bunch of things off this computer. Thank you. I'll speak from the void.
But yeah, I really enjoyed this. I thought this was a solid A. Like I said, the Joker thing, that's really my biggest gripe. Is I felt like this was just kind of shoehorned in and it didn't need to be there. Also the voice for the Joker, I mean it's like one line, so I mean I
gotta hear more.
But it's kind of like all right, I guess. But yeah, solid A for me. I enjoyed this. So yeah, Brandon, I will throw it to you, man, and your final thoughts and your grades, sir.
Yeah, I think this is a great spiritual successor to the OG animated series. I've even been rewatching some of that, and like it's almost eerie how like they kind of get some of like some similar shots or aesthetics, right? But I mean, of course, Bruce Timm is working on this, so of course he's gonna make sure this shit is like up to snuff.
Yeah, and that Harley is hot.
Yeah, and that Harley is hot, and you get a little, if Harley's not hot, then Bruce Timm's not on it. Exactly. No, I really love the show. Like it's Batman. Batman hasn't had a bad animated show, and that's not a hot take. Like I
That's
enjoy
true.
every single one of his animated shows. And I think this one just joins in that group of just being great, being good, while taking advantage of allowing to be a little bit more adult, like more themes going on there than he was able to do with the OG show or any of the other shows after that. But yeah, the voice acting's great, animation's great. My favorite villain of the week was probably Clayface, because Clayface has always been a favorite villain of mine.
Yeah, we did not mention Clayface. He's amazing in this,
and I love what they do with him here. I always love the Hollywood actor aspect that go with that character. Love what they do with that here, because in the OG series, that was like probably one of my favorite 2 episodes, or the little arc, the Clayface arc. But yeah, no, the show's great. If you love Batman, like you should probably be watching this.
Yeah,
and yeah, I'm kind of saying with you that only my kind of gripe is the Joker tease at the end. Didn't really need that. And also, Batman should have purple gloves. If this is going for the golden age, give Batman his purple gloves. God damn it!
Okay, I see you.
But that's it. This is a great show.
So yeah, letter grade.
A as well.
Nice. Canada, your final thoughts and grade, sir.
Well, I always tell myself I'll finish a series if they get Alfred correct. And this Alfred is wonderful. Beautiful, really, dry wit, kind of pushing Bruce, but in gentle ways. Like, oh, don't forget your meetings today, including your therapy.
Yeah,
like,
hint.
It's a good Alfred when you're upset that Bruce is mad.
I was getting really tired of Batman because I'm tired of the same old story. But this changes up a lot without desecrating anyone's childhood. I think that's an extreme way to feel about anything, really.
Yeah,
but yeah, it's beautiful. I like how Batman works the right hook. It's very, very proactive of understanding how not knocking someone unconscious but wanting to send a message works. I like that each episode kind of has a mystery about it. It's like, that's fun. Let's kind of solve this mystery together. Not too complicated. And the mystery turns out to be something more about humanity than about just Gotham.
Yeah.
A lot of people, or at least me, I think, what makes Batman inspiring? Why would Batman, and how does Batman inspire people to become a hero? And there's a villain in one of these episodes that's not a typical villain from the Rogues Gallery.
Yeah.
Which has a beautiful Easter egg for the Robins. That's how you do Easter eggs, by the way. If Christopher Nolan is listening.
I love
the way they did that. Yeah, it was clean.
Gary Jason Dickey. That's an Easter egg. No one being all like, oh, go by your full names. Carrie, Jason, Todd, and Dick Grayson. Like,
my name's Richard, actually.
Yeah, right. God,
how does the Batman inspire people to do better? Like, without spoiling too much, this little kid who was very heroic is all like, what? You want to help them out? They're a dumb monster. They're lame, Batman. They're bad. And Batman helps them out in the way that he knows how.
Yeah.
And that's putting it incredibly lightly. If you've seen the Justice League episode where Batman has to confront I believe her villain name was the Ace of Spades.
Yes.
It reminded me of that. Like, this dude's a fucking hero. This dude can change hearts and minds with this kind of heroics. And I love that. And final point, what I really loved about it, like, oh, they're bribing cops. They're in the pocket. I roll my eyes like, what does that mean? But this delves into the logistics of it. This cop is bribed to be in the pocket of someone who wants the mayor in his pocket, who hires the cops, and the media sees a cop do something horrific and says, well, that's a hero move to me, I think. Like, it's all in this big wheel of this has to change or Gotham won't. And that's just wonderful. This was an A for me as well. I went, whatever, at the Joker stuff, so it didn't hit me as hard as so many fans are upset about. Because I'll probably just rewatch the first 9 episodes and not go into the finale moments of episode 10.
That's fair.
And maybe in retrospect, in 3 years, we'll be like, oh, that wasn't so bad after all. So yeah, this is an A for me. This is definitely in my, and I only put new TV for my top of the year, but this is probably a top 5. All the animated features this year have been crushing, and
they have.
They
really have.
Like, oh, another X-Men seems desperate. This is freaking amazing.
Exactly.
Oh, it's amazing. Oh, another Batman. We have like, you guys have heard me in the chat. Like, we have 8 Batman already.
Oh,
this is amazing.
That's one of your favorite rants. It's like, how many Batman do we have?
And this actually got me kind of hyped for the Batman part 2. And I wasn't a huge fan of the first The Batman. I don't know how y'all find so much time to watch a movie longer than 1:40, and that's me. That's a personal problem.
Being unemployed right now helps. It's very easy to watch 2-3 movies in a week.
Oh, and SpongeBob's voice. If you haven't heard him outside of
Tom
SpongeBob,
Kenny.
He has my best joke where the Batman confronts him on the rooftop because he needs his help. He's not trying to hurt him or anything, and he like says his name and he goes, yes. I mean, no.
Yeah.
And it's just such good comedic timing and so funny how, I just gave my name to a psychopath. I mean, that's not me. So it's very, yeah. Kenny's a wonderful voice actor. All the voices in this are great. It's Angelica from Hamilton, I believe. Also, I think you said Eliza, and that's Hamilton's wife who he cheats on. And I don't want to say plus because, it's not perfect. I do have those little nitpicks like the Batmobile's not cool enough. And some of this animation feels too still sometimes, as if I'm... And I don't advocate. I don't advocate for working animators to death. I don't want to be that guy. So.
Throw them back in there. Don't let them see their families.
Right? It's like you stay in this tower like Rapunzel and you animate
until you're done.
I'm right there with you. Because I do think there's a couple points where it's like kind of Archer-esque in terms
early
of the frame
Archer
rate
for sure.
Yeah, but at the same time, that doesn't really bother me. But for a show like Batman, you kind of need to get that frame rate up. So I get what you're saying. Now, with that said, to kind of piggyback a little bit, I like this animation more than I've honestly been liking DC's animation for the last, ever since they kind of rebooted their universe. I think their the movie stuff is just not working for me animation wise. The Justice League Society, World War movie 2.
Oh no, World War 2.
Yeah. That. The animation for that, I don't know, it worked for me. Maybe it's because it's in that retro setting, maybe.
But then they kept using it.
Yeah, dude, thank you. But I think for the most, it's so confusing to me watching something like My Adventures with Superman, where I'm just like, this is animation y'all should be actually doing more of, and abandon what you have over here because it feels stagnant, honestly. So to your point, Canada, I don't think you're wrong there on some of the animation. I did find it a bit I did find it a bit jarring. But y'all, that was Batman Cape Crusader. So A's across the board for us. So okay. We're gonna make this I'm gonna go ahead and jump into our last review of the day, and that is My Adventures with Superman season 2. So I will say myself, I was really excited to watch this. I am spoiled. I do not like waiting for things to drop weekly. So I said, fuck it. I'll wait until all the episodes drop and I'll get to it then. And so that's what I did. I waited until we got all the episodes. And so we already reviewed season 1. That is up on the channel. We did a past stream of that. Actually, it's not on the channel yet. The audio side. So I'll upload this and season 1. But we ended with a very interesting tease at the end of season 1. We got the tease of Brainiac, which I was like, okay, we're doing Brainiac now. Like, let's fucking go. And you could tell in season 1 they definitely had to hold back because I'm sure there were rogues they wanted to use, and DC was like, no, can't use them. But it feels like, and maybe this is an influence of Papa Gunn. Maybe it's DC realizing like you can have things in different mediums and not crush the live action medium, which I think they've been very kind of like wishy-washy on.
Yeah.
But we get Brainiac. Oh yeah, full spoilers, by the way. I figured that's implied, but just to say it. We get Brainiac in this season. We get Lex Luthor, and Canada has kind of been laughing at me about it, but I think he might be getting on my side a little bit on this, because I have thrown out the conspiracy theory that the people who write and created the show are not Zack Snyder fans, and they're just determined to go ahead and take all of the plot points that he couldn't execute and put them in the show and go, see, that's how you do it. Because they take tech nerd Lex Luthor, which BVS Lex is one of the worst villain portrayals in a comic book film. You will never change my mind on this.
What? You don't like when Jesse Eisenberg puts that Jolly Rancher in the general's mouth? And he's
God, he does do that, doesn't he? Oh,
he's like, yeah, I'm in charge now, or whatever. I don't know.
Yeah, in a jar of piss being a plot point. God, that movie is just anyways. But you see Lex in this show, and who voices Lex? I'm actually trying to find.
I'm not sure, actually.
The General, Brainiac. Why am I not seeing Lex? Come on, IMDb, you work with me here. I don't see who voices Lex. What the fuck? Whomever voices them, they're great. Holy fuck, they're great. They're fucking amazing. Like they get across the sliminess of Lex. That is something that I just, oh my god, I hate.
It's Max Middleton. It's because they have him listed as Alex first.
Of course they do.
Alex.
Yeah. Another prolific voice actor is just in everything.
Yeah, Max Middleton, very good.
Okay, that makes sense. You know Max Middleton from he voiced he voiced Harry.
Yeah,
in a Spider-Man. Okay, that
is
makes
the spectacular one.
Just called Spider-Man. So not spectacular. That makes a lot of sense. But let's just jump in here. So I was so happy with season 1. I think it built really well, made Lois feel like a fully fleshed out character, got some great background on Clark. And they did a good job at introducing Jimmy Olsen as well. Not creepy over in the Middle East trying to fill up Lois Jimmy Olsen, which, I know that might be confusing to some of you. But God, can you tell how BVS just makes me bitter when I think about it? But beginning of this season, I think the biggest compliment I can give it is that Jimmy gets a chance to do his own shit in a way that he didn't get to in season 1. Like he really gets to get explored more as a character here in season 2. And I will say too, him and Kara gonna hook up. Like good for him. Like bravo, sir. But I will say my biggest I don't want to say complaint, and I'd love to get your thoughts on this. Brandon, I'll throw it to you first. Okay. I thought Lois at points in this show this season was so goddamn aggravating. She just, some of the decisions she makes, I just went, girl, like what are you doing? Like she does the young girl mid-20s, and they don't really say how old they are, which
I just think early 20s. They're all
which as I'm about to say this, that actually makes sense as I'm about to say it out loud. She does that early girl 20 things where it's like we're having an issue, like we may not just work out. We might as well just stop now. And I'm just like, girl, like you can't live like that. Like you cannot just throw in the towel at the first sit. Like, so that some of the stuff like that did bug me.
They didn't even have a fight, man. She just came out in the left field with that.
Yeah, it was just kind of one of the like it was like, I'll be real. I had an ex break up with me in a very similar fashion where I was like, wait, we weren't arguing 10 minutes ago. And she was like, it's over. And I'm just like, wait, what? And it's like, what did I do? It's like, nothing is a short answer. And this person's just insane. So I like kind of like fuck off. So Brandon, I'll throw it to you. Kind of give us your thoughts and yeah, talk to me about the Lowe's thing, because that did kind of irk me a little bit.
As a resident 20-something over here, I totally get, like, I was also aggravated by Lois's like actions and thought processes throughout the season. But I was okay with it. Like, it didn't come out of left field for me. Like, it kind of seemed consistent with what we saw from her character in season 1, especially like when you bring in like her relationship with her father. Yeah. But I don't know, like, to me, like, and I've been in this position where it's like someone could be totally in their own head the whole time thinking about something and then like come to the conclusion themselves without even like bringing that other person in. And I think that's what Lois and Clark are going throughout the season, because like, to me, I feel like this season has like a big theme of communication and miscommunication. Yes. Clark and Lois are not telling each other a lot of things, and they want to, but things keep getting in the way. Time keeps getting in the way. But at the end of the day, like, if it's that important, like, they should have talked. Exactly. So it's like on both of their faults, I feel like, with the struggle with that miscommunication, and Lois coming to that conclusion after, like, you know, everything with the father, and like seeing, of course, getting the wrong idea with Clark, and also spending the day with with Vicky Vale and Cat Grant, just like having that coupled with that. I think I understand it, but at the same time, I'm like, girl, no, you know. But like at the same time with Clark as well, I'm like, both of y'all shut up and talk for like 20 minutes. Like, yeah, like you need to hash this out. But I enjoyed that aspect of this season. Like, I like that they were kind of going through their rough patch. Like season 1 and like part of like early of this season, like they're kind of in the honeymoon phase. Like they're very much just like all over each other. So I think it was kind of interesting how they played with this kind of conflict with them this season. Plus, I enjoyed the payoff with, you know, love saving the day, as all anime does.
Yeah. So before we throw it to Canada, because I already know that's going to be one of his axes to grind. Because we were talking about in the chat, I was like, oh man, if we watch like Sailor Moon or Care Bears with Brad, he'd be like, oh god, really? All it's like, they just need to hold hands and that takes down the evil. Like, give me a like which to be fair, that is kind of what Kingdom Hearts breaks down to at the end of the day. It's like you just need your hearts and a keyblade and you can beat all evil. So it's like
the human spirit and love, man.
Yeah, so it is kind of like, that does happen a lot. God, now I think about, fuck, God damn it. Canada might switch me to his side. Because now that I'm saying it out loud, I'm like, oh, that does happen a lot. Canada, I hesitantly throw it to you. What are your thoughts? Yeah, kind of talk to us about the Lois Clark like communication dynamic.
No, I didn't think it was good. I think it was actually a very honest young couple relationship when both of them have very good careers. She did seem very crazy, and like, I don't know how she got to that conclusion. I felt kind of on her side though, like, yeah, maybe you should break up, do it. I want to see Clark with this supermodel for a while, see what her story is. But you know, it's my adventures with Superman, not my adventures with my ex-boyfriend who I hate. Jimmy, I want to quickly throw shout outs to him as well. Amazing voice performance. Jimmy is incredibly heroic and the embodiment of why Metropolis should be saved and why Superman is surrounded by people who elevate his ideals. There's running gag about Jimmy's bank account, and
that's so good.
The payoff is great. The payoff isn't even a womp womp. It's very much like, damn, get it, Jimmy. Yeah, you're
Yeah.
fucking hero. Superman's best friend, not just some, oh, hey, I'm a white guy in scene.
Yep.
And my name's Jimmy Olsen. Now I'm dead. Like, fuck off with that. Really, my biggest nitpicks again were, because I watch a ton of anime, old and recent, and there's so many anime references. My kids will be like, what anime references in this scene?
Yeah.
And I'll be like, oh, Kara's dressed like Juhachi after she ditches the cowboy theme. And they're like, who's Juhachi? And I'm like, oh, I'm 18. Sorry, I'm so nerdy.
Yeah, right.
Like, what about this one? They're in space. What about this one? Lois is wearing Osamu Dyson's Macross Plus gear from Macross Plus, who was voiced by Bryan Cranston from Breaking Bad, who should have been Lex Luthor. That's the deep cut.
Yeah.
They're like, damn, Dad.
I'm not a huge anime nerd, and even I was catching like, oh, okay, you're referencing the
none of the references get in the way of the story, though. Other than yeah, let's hold hands and the power of friendship is why we're strong. And I'm like, against Brainiac, though. I mean, Amanda Waller's right there. She's not gonna hold hands, guys. Like, so. Oh, and I'd love to ask you two about that, because that had me weirded out. Not a flaw in the show, but I was very. I asked Doggett about it, our mutual friend. And his response was hilarious, like only dog can be, and really got me thinking about it. But she took this project from Sam, Lois's dad, and pushed the "we are being invaded, we will all die and be murdered, and our children will be put into salt mines," like really ramped up the fear of being invaded. So I'm always at an impasse of, how am I supposed to feel about this when the insane raving fearmongerer is correct? Like, how did you guys deal with that?
So
yeah, you go first.
Yeah, so like, okay, for me, a message can be correct and have the wrong messenger, and I think that's Amanda Waller to it. I think that's Amanda Waller to a T, because
I like that a lot.
Because like you can want, like, you know what it is? Okay, I'll give you a perfect example. So you remember like the premiere episode of Glee, where like Rachel, Leah Michelle's character, she doesn't get that solo, but then she finds about the guy who's being molested by the prior Glee coach, and basically rats out the Glee coach just so she can get the solo. Like, she did the right thing, but she did it for an extremely fucked up and shitty reason. That's Amanda Waller, basically. Where it's just like, yeah, like, I want to do this, but it's because I want Task Force X to basically get a government contract and basically control everything. Like, I'm not doing this out of the goodness of my heart or because it's the right thing to do. I'm doing it because I want more control. So that's how I read it personally. Plus, Amanda Waller always has an ulterior motive. Like, there's never a point where she's doing something just out of the out of the goodness of her heart. There's always, another shoe to drop when it comes to Waller. And so which, man, they nail that aspect, like, because in season 1 she's terrible, but there is this point like where she does hook up with Lex. Oh, that's Deborah Wilson. I did not know she voiced Waller. That's awesome. Oh,
Agreed.
that makes
100%.
That makes me really happy. Oh, she voiced Waller in the Telltale series too.
Yeah, she's been Waller for a minute. She was Waller in the Suicide Squad game, I think.
Damn, I didn't.
Yeah, I heard about that. CCH Pounder, Viola Davis, and Deborra Wilson are all top shelf,
top tier Waller.
Yeah, top tier Wallers.
Wild, good, goddamn, good for her. But yeah, Waller. So there's a great opening. I think it's like episode 5. I want to say, where Waller, like, they show Waller's like morning routine, and oh my god, that shit's terrifying. Like, it's like it's like the opening the book Smart without the fun. Like, you're just like, god damn. you're
listening to her mantra and everything.
Yeah, or she's like, you are here to make a difference. It's like, holy fuck, like, oh, like, fuck, like, all right. One thing I love about this show too, they actually have a shockingly natural way to introduce us to a Fortress of Solitude, which a certain movie directed by a certain director did not do. They went ahead and actually go like, well, hey, there's this spaceship that's floating over Antarctica. Oh shit, it crashed, and you're like, oh, that's how you get your fortunes of okay, like. There's just these subtle things that the show does, and you're like, oh, that's how you're moving this chess piece into this. Like, okay, like let's go. Like it's it's clever in that way, and it does that. It kind of does that shit over and over. Like where you're like, okay, like you thought this out. We didn't talk about him yet, but fuck it, I'll bring him up now. I love the relationship between Lois and her dad. That is one of those cases, like, I make the joke on here about, oh, girls with daddy issues, and whoo, like when you like when they there's this episode where like they show Lois and her dad like when she's a kid, and how there's a point he just leaves her ass, like like leaves her ass in the woods. It's basically like figure it out. And you're just like, oh wow, that like Lois is what 7, 8 at that point, and how that would really fuck you up. Kind of like a kid getting lost at Disneyland. You're like, oh shit, like, but he's like, oh, you passed your test, and it's just like, dude, like, no, not the way you do this, and it honestly speaks to Lois's relationship with her dad, but at the same time, it gives you that whole, well, she wants him to be proud of her, but also like to the detriment of the relationship you're trying to build. Like it's a really interesting conversation that the show kind of has. I want those to you, Brandon, before I throw it to Bradley. There is something that Lois does that straight up I went, nope, don't do that. Nope, fuck that. Where she basically goes like, hey, Dad, I know you're not feeling safe where you are now. You should stay with Clark. And I'm going to tell you right now, the moment she said that, I yelled at my screen. I was like, fuck no. I'm like, you did not just invite your dad to stay. No, like, no. And in Canada, what he said, he's like, oh, well, he could have just said no. But it's like, as someone who's been in a similar situation, the way that she asked, presented that really gave Clark no out to even have a say. And I thought that was really like ick on her part. Also because that's someone invading your space, and someone invading your space, that's never ideal. So yeah, Brandon, talk to me about Lois's relationship with her dad and the that aspect there, if you wouldn't mind.
Yeah, no, I really, because I feel like in season 1, that was a part of like the twist or like the reveal that like, oh no, the general that hates Superman is Lois's dad. And so like in season 2, I think it was a little bit like how you mentioned like those flashbacks with Lois and her dad and those survival trips. I thought that was very interesting to shine more light on like both of them, because like when we get more General Lane, he seems so just like he obviously is sorry, but like this is a man who has no idea how to articulate his feelings.
Yes.
And like he like, especially like when Lois like lets him crash on Clark's couch, he is like a shell of a man almost, of like what we saw in season 1. Like he's very like paranoid. He's like just not cleaning up. He's staring at the TV all day. And yeah, I don't know. I thought that was very interesting. Like I totally understand why Lois is the way Lois is, like just seeing more of General Lane like in the picture and like how they interact with one another. And like the fact like that one episode where like they're being buddy cops and like he leaves her again at the end.
Yeah,
like right after, like it's like, damn, dude, you really are just too insecure and too just like not ready to like actually have a conversation or like sit down with your daughter and like hash this out, or like at least move forward and stop repeating these things. But yeah, as for Lois asking him to, or not even asking, saying he can crash on Clark's couch, that just goes back to like the miscommunication thing. Like they both have like so much going on, and like Lois is not thinking. She's literally just like, oh, my dad is in trouble and is about to die, and I don't see him ever. So yeah, stay at my boyfriend's place.
Yeah.
and like it's a terrible thought process.
Yeah,
I felt so bad for Jimmy and Clark in that situation.
As
Yeah.
Sorry, just I was as someone who my first apartment was that place for a lot of people where it's like, oh, like I I'm fighting with my partner, I need to stay in the couch for a day or two. I'll just tell you that shit gets annoying so quickly, like within like a day or two. And so like when she did that, I was just like, oh, you bitch. Like I was like, oh my god, like I'd be so like I was so like dude, I was so mad. I was like, oh, you fucking asshole, like you would pull this shit right now. So I was really frustrated by that.
She's giving me a little bit of Annie Edison vibes with that.
Oh,
like, from Community.
Yeah, I can see.
Just doing and like thinking later.
Yeah, like oh god, that shit. Canada, I'll throw it to you, man, because like I think as a parent, you have like a unique like perspective on a lot of these relationships, but like yeah, like kind of talk to me about that, and also like someone just randomly crashing at your house, like talk to us, Canada.
No. I mean, this guy had Clark tied up like 2 weeks ago. He's not crashing on the couch. This is the breakup conversation, and Clark deserves better. Like, it's such an interesting season that way, because I don't think he's clearly over the moon, head over heels for Lois.
Yeah,
absolutely.
And this was a very shitty thing she did.
Yeah.
I don't think it shies away from that. The reason
I agree
why Clark thinks it's shitty just makes him seem like an even better person. So that was kind of rough for Lois.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
He's like, oh, I know it's a hassle. I know he's on your couch, but it's not so bad. And when he's like, he makes you feel small.
Yeah.
Like, damn.
When he said that, like, that was one of those moments where I was like, for an alien, he really gets human relationships, because that is like a very pointed, like, ooh, like.
Yeah. He doesn't like the way he makes her feel.
She's not going to see it any other way.
Yeah.
We all have our relationships with our parents that are, when analyzed from someone on the outside looking in at us, can help us heal and grow as people. Nobody's perfect, of course.
Absolutely.
Like when people go like 10 kids, what, they're going to all end up in therapy. My response to that is, I certainly hope so.
Fair.
But just short answer, no, that's horrible. Don't invite. I mean, you didn't even get Jimmy involved on this either. That's such a shitty thing, Lois.
That was a part. That was the part in particular.
Yeah, it's not your house to invite people into.
Yeah,
and I know it's supposed to be funny, but. And it was funny. There was a lot of comedic payoffs from it, especially since Sam, as you pointed out, Brendan, Sam's paranoid, and now he's even more paranoid. So all the looks he gives Clark is all like, oh, does he know?
Like, nah, he knows.
He's just going to look at everybody like that. And
like, I want to throw it to Brainiac real quick, because so Brainiac has one of my favorite like burns I've heard. What that was one of my favorite things about X-Men 97 is just some of the burns that Magneto had. You're like, god damn, you're like, he is not like. So I wrote it down verbatim because I wanted to quote this. Your father was weak, with ambitions so small they could be contained within a cradle. That is savage as fuck. I was like, god damn, Brady. like when he says it to Clark, I was like, that's unnecessary. He's just learning who his dad is.
Ooh, it's like a very, very nuanced, poetic burn too.
Yeah, exactly. Like it's such a like it. Like I don't like the Amazing Spider-Man at all. But one of the best lines in that is when the Lizard has like Peter by the neck. He's like, poor Peter, no father, no grandparents to help you. You're like
all alone.
Wow. Yeah, you're like wow. like okay, like you could just kill him. Like
we're taking it there, I guess.
Yeah,
like to get personal.
But that's one of the things like about sports that I love. Like, there's nothing more like getting like I hate when people are like, oh, there's nothing worse than losing. It's like, no, there's nothing worse than losing and having them talk shit to you while you're getting your ass kicked. And that's where the Brainiac stuff is just like, oh man, like this is dark. And also the whole the whole thing is not lost on me that Brainiac is like, oh yeah, I was the ship's AI for Krypton. And you're like, oh, so you're telling me AI can do bad things? It's like you hear that, people? You hear that, all of you who are like, what's wrong with AI? What could it possibly do? It's like this is what it can do. And I who voiced Brainiac? That was
he's fucking great.
Michael Emerson, was it?
Michael Emerson, yeah. Who that's right, he voiced Joker in Dark Knight Returns. Which, man,
and I love you for it. Yeah,
Oh,
this might be
so
my
great.
favorite Brainiac performance. If you guys have other recommendations for that,
this is my favorite. This is my favorite Brainiac performance. Okay. I thought this Brainiac was terrifying, like to a point, honestly, where I was uncomfortable. And y'all know me, like it takes a lot to rattle me, and I was genuinely sitting there going, "This is making me like not feel good, like at all." Like it was really like and look, no disrespect to James Spader, like I'm a huge fan of his Ultron performance, but this is like an evolution of that for me. Where I really was just like, anytime Brainiac was on screen, I was genuinely nervous. Like I pretty much once they introduced Brainiac, I stopped smoking as I was watching the show. I was like, I don't want to go down like a rabbit hole of what this could mean for our war. Like, I'll be real, y'all. That's why I don't have like Alexa or any of that shit in the house, because I'm just like, like, outside of the fact I'm sure they're fucking, stealing these recordings and using them for not great things. I'm just like, yeah, I don't like. I've made the joke in the chat where like Alexa, play Kendrick Lamar. No, we're not playing any Coon tunes. Wait, what was that? What? And like I'm afraid of my Alexa pulling some shit like that. But yeah, Brainiac legit scared me. And that's how he should feel. Like Brainiac should feel like this encompassing threat that you can't get rid of. And the way that he manipulates Kara in particular, and the realization that Kara has to have that she was being manipulated, and when she actually sees like the plan that she's destroyed, it's like, oh fuck. It's like you have to live with this shit and recognize what you did. Like it's a dark back half of this season that I was really surprised by. Brandon, I'll throw it to you before we go to Canada. Yeah, talk to us about Brainiac and like because I know you're a Superman fan, like I am, and we've and I thought Brainiac on Krypton, the show, I thought Brainiac was actually really well handled, but I like this more removed, almost like robotic, like blank slate for Brainiac. I think it actually makes it more imposing because you can add your fear to it. So yeah, kind of talk to me about Brainiac and what you thought.
Yeah, no, you already like stole the words right out of my mouth. This is like, at least, I mean, you guys could correct me if I'm wrong, but this is like the first Brainiac design I've seen that's not like humanoid, like doesn't have a face, like we're used to seeing, and is not green as well, like no green face at all. And like the only other Brainiac that I really had enjoyed seeing before this was the one, of course, from Superman that carried over into like the Justice League and Justice League Unlimited cartoons, because I love when him and like
I think Brandon froze on us.
Oh no.
Canada, I'll throw it to you then, man. You're what did you think of Brainiac as far as like the design and like what they did with him?
Well, like I said, I'm glad you agreed. This is my favorite Brainiac performance. It's such a hard character for me to like because I'm like, robot. Psh, get out of here. Nobody wants you here. Like, I'm cold. I'm very cold towards robots. Like, the Iron Giant saying, "I'm Superman." I'm like, you're not. You're a robot.
God, man, you always find a way.
I do, and that's a great film, great direction. I don't know why robots have such a big uphill to touch my heart. I'm sure it's a prejudice that dates back to my childhood. Thank goodness that nobody likes robots. This Brainiac, yeah, very scary, very menacing. I love that he has a space cloak. Anything that
I like the space
isn't
cloak,
really human but wears human clothes, I think is just fascinating.
Okay.
And then we find out why, because he wants a perfect vessel, and he feels that a Kryptonian with all their powers can be a perfect vessel, and that's really cool ambition. I love that there is no reaching Brainiac, which is it's hard to say if it's tragic or not, because again, he's a robot. But when he lays out his plan and why he wants it, I don't think the show makes it hopeless, but there's definitely a twinge of you can't reach this guy.
I think that's the point, though. Honestly, yeah.
Honestly, for me, like, my biggest awe is kind of knowing about Superman and a lot of Superman things. That's where I was kind of bummed out. I wish I could have seen this with fresh eyes. Like, my youngest daughter, watching with me, she was like, "They're dead. They're dead," when they get tossed into the sun, and I'm like, no, it's fine. It'll be fine.
Yeah.
But yeah, I really would have liked to feel that tension with her and not know that the sun is actually wonderful for Kryptonians.
Yeah.
The moment still works.
Oh, it
especially
absolutely
because of Kara's vocal performance and Jack Quaid, perfect Superman. Who saw that coming?
Dude, seriously. Like, how is he such a great Superman?
Oh, and their wardrobe update, again, very anime. I didn't really care for it. I like his original suit better. And I know that's not a hot take, because people, since comics began, have had their preferences of which suits. Like, when I say, I actually like the first Avengers cap suit better than the Avengers cap suit, people are like, yeah, no shit, Brad.
Yeah, that first Avengers, look, I've talked so much shit about that looking like
the Captain America movie World War II cap suit is my favorite, and I thought that was a hot take, but everyone's like, no, that one's awesome. The Avengers one is bad.
So it's actually funny. Like, so I've talked a lot of shit about that first Avengers cap suit, where it looks more like a VR Trooper's costume than a Cap costume. I fucking hate the way it looks. Like, I hate it. I've just accepted it at this point. I've just accepted I just kind of need to just kind of go whatever to it. But it is the one costume in the Avengers that it peeves me. I like the one in Age of Ultron because I like the more accents of the red. I love the stealth suit in Winter Soldier, and then what we get in Civil War. But there's even a reason why he goes back to the fucking World War II one at the end of Winter Soldier, because he's like, I almost wish the Russos would have been like, oh hey, look, he's looking at the Avengers costume and the World War, and he's like, yeah, we're taking the World War. I always wish you would have kicked it over or something, but yeah, to your point, it's great. But yeah, as you're saying, as far as reaching robots, you shouldn't be able to reach a robot. Like, a robot should be so confident in its knowledge that it shouldn't, you shouldn't be able to reason with it. And there are multiple points where they try, and Brainiac is just like, no, fuck you, you're dumb, you're wrong, humanity sucks, I'm gonna kill you. And the thing is, to be fair, and I hesitate to say this, but it's true, he's not wrong in the sense of humanity is pretty fucking terrible. So it's so I'm like, well, yeah, there is good, but at the same time, you see Lex and you're like, well, I mean, maybe he's not wrong. Maybe maybe humanity sucks. and and that's my pessimistic side. This is where this is where the constant am I more like Todd, or am I more like Mr. Peanut Butter, or am I more like BoJack as far as my optimism? Because you have those days where you go like, man, humanity sucks.
Yeah.
Maybe aliens should take over. But to your point though, with Brainiac, the manipulation that he uses is so. And I'm gonna piss people off by saying this. It's very church. It's very church. It's very churchy.
I think that was intentional, and I don't.
Do
you know me? I don't mean to piss off anybody. I don't mean to. But yeah, it was intentional. I felt like when he arrived on Earth and was all like, "Children of the blue planet, blessed be this glorious day for you to be assimilated into the Kryptonian Empire or die." Like Ebony Maw was down there like taking notes like, this guy.
Dude, so I thought the same thing, because I was like, oh my god, this is the Thanos speech. I was like, oh, you are so like, I imagine
on this one.
This is gonna sound so fucked up, but it's true. It's like, I just imagine like congratulations to all of you Negroes with bones in your nose. We are here to teach you Christianity and put you on this boat and and give you clothes and teach you about how God saved you. Well, we have gold and shit here. We're actually no, you don't. No, you don't. That is our gold now. We are here. We are here to teach you the right way to live. Like as I heard that speech, I was like, ooh, I've heard this. I've read about this in history books, and this is eerie in the way that it's almost like an ad lib of a speech, but it's one that's
like he came down and was like, "Noble savages," and like, this is no good.
Yeah, I was like, oh, this speech ends well. It doesn't end well.
Oh, and Amanda Waller taking over the like literally shutting down the media and the journalists from talking about what was going on. Like,
so
not a good look.
Yeah, so I'll be real. That was like, that gave me like Free Palestine vibes like a motherfucker, and I have no idea if that was intentional or not. But yeah,
my kids understood it without me explaining it. They're like, "Oh," because that stuff terrifies me a lot.
Oh, same.
So when that happened, I was like, "This shouldn't be in a kids' cartoon." Like my kids were like, "Oh, well, they're just controlling the narrative so they can manipulate history later, Dad." And I was like, Jesus, like,
yeah, that
you have to say it so calmly. Like,
the thing is though, like, that shows you and Amy are raising them right, because if they're able to connect that dot already, like, that's going to be great for them, like, as they get older and learn to, like, discern and everything, because that is
right. The discernment is important, right?
Yeah, because to your point, when I saw that, I was like, holy shit! I was like, this isn't a kid. Like, damn,
she's a
really?
monster.
Yeah, no, she 1,000% is a monster.
I don't think Sam would go that far. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like it's one of those things where you just go like, eep. Like, that is a very uncomfortable. I mean, I'll be real. The only thing that really was missing is them like going to college campuses and telling them like the robots are fine. LexCorp is great. Like, what do you what are you complaining about? Like, that was something that really did, in the best way, catch me off guard as far as how they went ahead and did that, because I just wasn't expecting it. As far as I'm trying to see if Brand's gonna hop back on. We'll just take a few more minutes here, but I love Kara's arc. It really makes me hopeful for the future of Supergirl. I clearly DC has plans for her, and that's a character that if y'all haven't read Woman of Tomorrow, I mean, that's kind of like the standard, but check out Woman of Tomorrow if you haven't. I would recommend Superman, Batman, Apocalypse, because she's fucking amazing on that cartoon, or in that animated film, if you haven't checked that out as well. Kara's such a great fucking character. I'm just such a fan of hers, and I really love that Jimmy Olsen, having having his big crush on her and her having a crush on him. It's like, okay, that's adorable. Number one.
And the misunderstandings between them are super cute. Where she was like, "I'm looking for the leader of the planet," and he's like, "I work at the planet. I'm kind of a leader there."
Yeah, he's like, it's fine. Like, I mean, in that way that you would try to impress someone at the gate. It's like, like sure, like like it's me. Like, come on, baby. Like I like the way that he plays it. But I also love the way that that Lois and Jimmy have that conversation about like, like we're gonna use this kryptonite, like no questions asked. We're gonna take her down, and how he goes like, you didn't do that to Clark. Like you gave him the benefit of the doubt, and Jimmy really having some of these like deeper conversations where you're like, wow, dude, like you get this, like you understand how this works, and it's Lois needed to be challenged on that shit, and it really does end up being incredibly powerful, really, as the series goes on. Now here's where I think our companionship breaks up here, because at the end of the season, of course, Kara and Clark beat Brainiac. To the last two episodes, I've talked about it, but straight up, I was weeping through the last two episodes. I did not expect those episodes to hit the way they did, because there's just this point where, let's add Brandon back here. Brandon, yeah, there you are. Hi. There's just this point in the last two episodes where you just feel like they're fucked. Like it's just kind of like, God damn, y'all are in trouble. And Brainiac is like, it's really funny to see Waller. I always get a sick satisfaction of villains being like, oh, we created this tech or these robots and we have them under control. Like technology can never be hacked. Ha ha ha. And and then Brainiac is like, oh, I did that in like 10 seconds. Fuck y'all. And and it's scary, man. Like it's I was just watching the Itchy and Scratchy Land episode of The Simpsons where the robots just lose their shit and you're just like, oh my god. It's scary. Like when you see these robots just start turning on the civilians and they're like, all right, well, fuck y'all. Like it's like, oh no, like run the fuck away. It's
and the contingency plan is everyone run.
Yeah, exactly. It's terrifying. Like when that happened, I was like, God damn. And
choking that guy. And he's like,
yeah, like you're like, what? Like this is all you had? Just fucking run? Like it's
yeah. That's their plan.
Yeah, and Lex being like, I'm trying. It's like you're not trying hard enough, mother. Like I love that realization villains have to have where they're just like, oh man, we're fucked. Brandon, since you're back in the game, I'll throw it to you, man. Talk to me about those last couple episodes and like how you're feeling going, getting through those.
I totally agree. Like watching I feel like those last 3 or so episodes where it was like, man, I don't know how they're going to get out of this one. I mean, like we obviously know Superman just got to win. I mean, it would be a huge subversion if the season ended on a downer.
Right.
But no, like I was right there with you. I was like, wow, this is some very interesting stakes. I'm very curious how they're all going to like get out of this and like what's to come of this, how they're going to pull together, like especially when Superman was separated from like Jimmy and Lois and Kara, like and Brainiac had control of him, like all that stuff. I was like, man, I don't know how they're going to get out of it, but I'm pretty sure I'm going to enjoy looking at it and how it happens. And I did. Like I love like you mentioned it, Amanda Waller, like earlier, like she doesn't say it, but she totally could have. She could have been like, I was right. I told you. Right. Alien invasion is happening. But no, I do like how like she fucks around and finds out. Like Brainiac.
yeah.
Brainiac is there and like takes control very instantaneously. Like it's out of her hands. Like Task Force X gets like fucking thrown to the side like almost immediately. So yeah, no, I love Brainiac coming in, just basically basically coming in and being like swinging his dick. He's like, "Yep, I'm here.
basically.
This is what it's about. This is going to happen. You guys can comply, or you could die." And I love seeing how like it's kind of like I'm glad they don't exactly repeat like season 1, but it's like that same kind of feeling. Like the people of Metropolis are like helping, like Superman, and like we get that moment with what's his name, Lumbar, when Lumbar helps Jimmy and Lois.
That made me so happy.
Yeah. I loved all the little moments like that, seeing all the characters return, even like the villains coming in and helping out. Like it felt very anime, like in like oh my god, these dire stakes, especially like the cliffhanger before the last episode. Like of course, like I think it ended with Brainiac about to like shoot like a huge laser, and like how's it gonna happen? And then of course Superman comes in and comes back. But
yeah, as you do.
As he does. He's got to come in at the last minute. But no, yeah, I really enjoyed just that feeling of the last episode of people in Metropolis, Superman, Kara, everybody coming together and like taking on Brainiac, and of course Brainiac like very much losing his shit and getting tired of it. It's like, oh my god, I hate you humans.
Yeah, like why would we quit?
Exactly. And I really enjoyed how much Brainiac, like he was the kind of like the perfect follow-up villain after season 1, I think. And he's Brainiac. He's not dead. He can't be dead. He'll always be in some black box, some computer, something that he transferred himself to before dying. But I really enjoyed like those final few episodes and just how dark it got, because you got to get dark to show the light at the end.
I love that quote. Damn, that one thing that I love about one of my favorite shots of this whole season is when Kara realizes she's been destroying these planets and she's out in space by herself, and she's like holding her face to her knees, and you see like the darkness behind her. It's one of those shots that I was like, holy shit, like this is how you get something across without saying a word. Like this is how you make something feel heavy and dark. And I think this show, what is it? It's TV PG, which I'll be real is shocking to me with some of the shit they pull.
No, it's on the Adult Swim in Canada, at least. It's on the Adult Swim channel.
Yeah, but I mean, but still, TV PG, like for this, like I feel like it should be TV 14, and yet, like they're like, I mean, I know they're not cussing or anything like that, but I was like that. Like that's pretty, like that's crazy that they're pushing it to that, to that degree. One thing I will say too before I throw it to Canada here, there is a verbal joust that that Jimmy has with Lex Luthor, and that shit. Oh my god, you want to talk about just like a kick in the ball sack? That's one of those. That's one of those things where you just go like, wow, like you twisted everything I was trying to say. And like, the fear mongering, it's like, it's the, and I know we talked politics earlier and I won't get too much into it, but what aboutism? Like that's what Lex is using. Like he's straight up using like Nazi tactics. Like you can literally trace this back to Nazi Germany. Like, what if Superman loses his mind one day? What if like he's pulling that shit, and and some of the people are like, yeah, what if? And then when Brainiac shows up, like, see, this is why you need, this is why you need a Superman, and y'all need to shut the fuck up. Like it's fascinating the way that they go ahead and play that. Canada, I will throw it to you for your last your thoughts on the last couple episodes. I love the way that Kara and Clark saved the day. When Kara got her new suit, I straight up cried. I was just like, oh my god, using the power of the sun and friendship to beat Brainiac. I was like, this is great. But yeah, Canada, I will throw it to you to completely make me sad and make me
again, there was just no tension for me since I knew about the power of the sun.
Yeah,
about anime and Shonen Jump's ultimate power. I knew that the cold steel beating heart of Brainiac would not be turned by tears of companionship. I knew that the people would once again cheer for their saviors from beyond the stars. No, that actually was effective. How they were.
I was gonna say that was. I was about to say, dude. I'm like, that
when
was
she
cool.
says they're cheering for you, Kal-El. Like, oh no, they're cheering for you too, Kara. This was a group effort.
For us.
It's beautiful.
Yeah.
The one part that, and of course it did because it involves the Kents, worked for me very emotionally. When Kara wakes up in her new home and it's the Kents.
Lost it. I lost it.
For the fullness of the series, Brainiac was all like, Kara, my daughter, do this shit for me. These planets aren't going to genocide themselves.
Exactly.
Yeah. Only with more nuance because he tricked her into doing a lot.
Yeah. Exactly.
And to wake up in this new home, which is peculiar for anybody.
Oh, absolutely.
But the first thing the Kents say to her is, what can we do for you? And just that switch around from being essentially a slave to someone who is beloved in a home, a real home. And then, we get the juxtaposition of Clark being like, I want you to throw that pitch as hard as you can. Because this isn't someone he's raising. He's not her parent. He's not her mentor. He is her equal. And they can play catch like another Kryptonian kid could have if only Brainiac didn't destroy his planet. So that worked very effectively for me. And the montage that Lois gets into where she says something like, you think you can take us down? Well, don't, because we all work together here on Metropolis. It's a montage. Animation ain't great. Like, I thought that was very cringe.
Damn, boo.
After all her trifling the whole season.
Wow, trifling. Damn. Okay.
She's all like, mess with us? Well, we just stick together. And if we don't, then I'm going to ask my dad to move in with you. Like, okay. I don't think we got any. Well, we did get news from Comic-Con, right? That this show's going on into further
season
seasons.
3. Yeah, season 3.
So that was very upsetting at the time for it to end, and that's it. Thank you. And I'm like, whoa! Where's my season 3 tease? Where's my season 4 tease? Like, what's going on here? So I am glad to. I should watch the finale again now that I know that it'll be more, because that always kind of skews my perception. Like, well, this isn't a great ending. Well, if there's more, then it doesn't have to be.
It is terrifying, the concept that something could just end in this world of streaming. Like, so I get that, because like, let's be real, if this show was on Netflix, they'd be like, oh, like, who's it star? Like we don't give a fuck. Like,
season 1 and done.
Does it take place in Hawkins? Nope. Cool. Canceled. Like, I get that, and I do get, that's one reason, like, and I've talked about this with people who've like asked, like, why don't you review more TV? I'll be honest, that's kind of why, because I would hate to get invested in something like, oh my god, the show's great, and then it's like, oh, hey, only one season, goodbye. Like, so it's like, looking at you, the brother son. Thanks again for that, Netflix, you assholes. Yeah, I enjoyed that a lot, and of course, one goddamn. Anyways, but I'll throw out a couple more things here as we get the final thoughts. When they straight up, like, I don't give a shit what anyone says, they straight up say fuck you, Man of Steel. Because there's this point where Kara is gonna laser Superman in the fucking face, point blank, and he reaches out, and you're like, and it's like, oh, she's gonna snap her neck. It's like, no, he hugs her and says, you're stronger than Brainiac. You can break the spell. And I just started laughing because I was like, oh my god, they hate Man of Steel. I'm like, they totally like watch that shit, and we're like, no, we don't need Superman to be an asshole. He needs to be hopeful and believe in the people around him, which is the fucking point of Superman, by the way. Like that I think we shared in the chat, but that guy who's like, oh yeah, we don't need Superman to be like a huggy, lovey-dovey. I'm like, you've never read Superman outside of Injustice, and you're the people I don't want in any way, shape, or form talking about Superman, because you don't get the fucking character. And it's just, like it's those sort of moments where you're like, wow, they get this. They actually understand who Superman is, the character. And then right after that, fucking Clark goes, home isn't a place. Home is the people who love you. I lost my shit at that line. I was like, oh god, like I just like Clark had multiple moments in the last 2 episodes where I was just like, oh man, you just you get this. And Pa and Ma Kent having Kara giving her the welcome to Earth fruit basket. I'm just like, god damn it. Like it's just the show just makes me happy at the end of the day. That's the best way I can put it. And like you feel optimistic, which is how you should feel. And the other thing I will throw out before we get to final thoughts, when Lois jumps into like the brain meld universe to go ahead and save Clark, and she punches the fake Jor-El, and she's like, wait, how am I doing this? And he goes, you're the strongest person I know. So I was just like, oh my god, like yeah, that's when I just went. I was like, oh god, dude. Like I just lost it all over again. My final thoughts here. I just love the show, and this is right there with me. Like I've already told friends of mine, I'm like, do yourself a favor, watch both seasons of My Adventures with Superman, and then watch both seasons of Moon Girl and Devil Dinosaur. Because like they really mirror each other like quite well, actually. Where like it's a great freshman season, but then it's a darker, like more mature sophomore season. Weirdly dealing with a lot of the same things like PTSD and like first relationships and like relationships with parents. Like it's kind of wild how it actually does check a lot of the same boxes. I went through and actually watched 2 or 3 episodes a couple times, and I really could not find anything to really rant about or like bitch about. I was so I was just thrilled. I was just thrilled when this ended, and I was so what it sets up for season 3 is very interesting. Lex Corp is a thing now, which I thought like I like the way they did that. Waller's underground, which I think that could be very interesting. Whom she could potentially bring into Metropolis, because she's not going down without a fight. And we have Superman and Supergirl, and the fact that they've already said that that Superboy is going to be in season 3, which that's very interesting. I'm curious the journey to get there. I'm curious how they're going to introduce how they're going to keep using Lex. There's a lot they could tap into for season 3, and I saw I guess that episode 1 of season 3 is like done. So what episode down, people? I would probably say we probably get this. I'd probably say next fall is what I'm gonna say.
Yeah, because when did season 2 drop? That was like what, March, April?
Yeah. So I think maybe next summer, maybe get next July.
Maybe.
But I'm hyped. Like, give me season 3 as soon as you can, but also take your time, because I know that you'll nail this. I don't have any complaints. This is a fan-fucking-tastic for me. When something makes me cry that hard, I woke Captain up because I was like, so like the whole, and I agree with Brad in the sense of like, I do wish I had less knowledge of these characters sometimes, because when they're going to the sun, my brain is like, oh yeah, Kryptonian, they'll be fine. But that's still such a powerful moment to see Kara shed those, her slave costume,
basically,
and get the Supergirl costume proper, and then seeing Clark with the belt on this costume, I just like that, because that's just such an old school like Silver Age look. I love that. So fan-fucking-tastic for me. Brandon, I'm gonna save you for last. Canada, your final thoughts and grades, sir.
I enjoyed this. I enjoyed the first season a lot. This one I'd say has a sophomore slump until you finish the whole thing, where a lot of more things come together. Lois should be more passionate about her job and not about if Clark really loves her or not. It's a choice. It's a writing choice I didn't agree with. I hate her dad. If Clark was like, Clark threw him into the sun, and people go, "Oh, this is his evil origin," I'd be like, "Nah, that seemed rational."
What a hero!
Yeah, right. I like him more. Let's build that statue now.
Yeah, that might be a bit too harsh. Sam, dumb monster. Pros though, Amanda Waller nailed it. Again, another top tier villain, top tier vocal performance.
Terrifying.
The Lex setup not being cartoonishly rushed, even though it's a cartoon. Like, I'm like, here we go. What's the accident where he loses his hair? And then there isn't one. And I'm like, no, that's fun. That's cool.
Right.
Yeah, get this tech bro into actually talking about tech. When he was like, when he was so excited about his machines and how they could control people, for lack of a better word, instead of being like, this is my tech. You know, I hang artwork upside down in my home. Like, what are you talking about? I'm so glad he doesn't say any ridiculous philosophical bullshit that no one cares to hear. No. That was a huge plus.
Yeah, same.
Kara's journey, once again, new old character, but new hat.
Yeah.
Up there with the best Supergirl stories. Hope to see her more in season 3, which I think they've already confirmed she's going to be a main staple. Glad to hear that.
She's going to be a part of the gang.
Metropolis getting to be a city full of people and not just screaming civilians. That was a huge plus from season 1. I'm glad that it's back in season 2.
Yeah.
There's a whole crater at the end of Man of Steel, a whole fucking crater. And it's like, wow, who do you think died? And Lois and Clark are like, who cares?
Let's make out.
Let's go make out in this bathtub and
No, I'm gonna give this one a B plus. It kind of dips like most season 2s do for me, other than the bear. But yeah, B plus. I think if you have kids, watch it with them. This will teach them a lot of fun lessons that you can actually have a conversation about.
I agree with that.
Like, you know, so this isn't a whole like. It's not a PSA. It's how children talk to their kids, how kids talk to their friends, how crazy relationships can get. Because the most irrational thing you can be is in love. And a lot of shows have trouble.
You're not wrong, man.
Damn.
Wow.
Oh, that's a good one.
That's a quote for you. Wow. That actually kind of like shook my brain a little bit.
That hit hard.
Yeah.
So, and you should talk about it. Hey, Brandon, you've been dropping that the whole show, and you need to talk about those feelings.
Yeah.
And if any cartoon or animated series has the message of that, it's season 2.
Yeah.
And I'm excited to see if Kara and Jimmy take the further steps into a better relationship. Right now, they're tremendous friends that kind of crush on each other. But yeah, I'd like to see more of that. And that's such a hard thing to do with seasonal shows, is to actually get people interested in hooking up. Especially friends, because, you know, what if they ruin the friendship? Yes, it's very, very open, very big, fresh ideas for Superman, but also staying true to the character. If someone's in trouble, I'll help, and that's all. That's all it takes for me. Jack Quaid's nervous like someone's in trouble, like that voice, that crack in his voice he delivers when someone's in danger. Like, damn, that's our Superman. Go Superman, save him.
Yeah. Like, he gets it, man. Like,
B plus, and I'm done. Thank you.
B plus. Okay. Before we go to you, Brandon, just want to throw out real quick. I think you were off mic when we brought up the whole like journalists being rounded up and how much of a real world like fuck, like that's one of those things that Brad and I were like, oh, like this isn't a kid's show and they're bringing this up. Like I think this sophomore season, it does address more mature things. Like it really reminded me of like in Moon Girl and Devil Dinosaur when she straight up has a panic attack about trying to be good enough for Wakanda, and you're like, and you're like, they're bringing this up for kids. Like kids are gonna see this and go, oh, that's not good. Like you shouldn't be pushing yourself that hard. Like it was kind of it was just crazy to see something like that in that show and to see something with journalists and being able to speak to it to kids, in that. But Brandon, your final thoughts and grades, sir.
I'm right there with you, Hunter. I think the people working on this show, when they all got together, they wrote on the big board. They were like, "How do we make this better than Man of Steel and Batman vs. Superman?" They watched those movies and they were like, "Okay, here's what we are not going to do."
Yeah.
I feel like this show, like second season, just re-emphasizes just like how much they obviously love Superman. They love the optimism. They love the inspiration that he brings to the people around him, and vice versa. And I think like this show just like got a lot stronger with like how they're like portraying that. This is great. Like it's like we just mentioned, Jack Quaid is a fantastic Superman voice. I love that dude, and like this might be one of my favorite roles for him. Like just like off the 2 seasons, like I love him, and I hope he does more voice acting. I know he's only been doing this in Lower Decks. If I'm wrong, I hope he's in more animated things because he's got a great voice. But it's so great. I love the optimism. I love how dark this show gets. Brainiac, we already mentioned it, but he's probably like my favorite characterization of the character. Like,
okay,
I love the disconnect of like no human face, no human physical qualities, but like his voice that so many times has like so much personality to it. Like, like that scene where like him and like where he's basically testing Clark and all, like I don't know if you guys talked about this. All the Easter eggs, like the Hawk, the Thanagarian Hawk, the Green Lantern, and like the Parademon. Like like I love that moment with Brainiac and Clark. But to a wider degree to this show, I love how much Bradley mentioned it like as a joke, but like honestly, I love how much the show opened up more than just like our characters, supporting characters. Like we get a lot more of this world, the sense of this DC world that they created. Like a lot more characters pop up. We get Steel, we get Hank Henshaw, we get
the Steel appearance. I was like, oh my god, what? Like, that made me very happy.
More Superman villains. We got Atomic Skull popping up. And like I forget the supermodel lady, but like she's like apparently a deep cut character too. So a lot just more opening up the world that I loved about this second season, and more characters, and just like makes me more interested, like what's going on and what other cameos you might get in future seasons. But this show's great. I love how it leaves off with like it does almost feel like, oh, well, we don't know if we're getting another season, so let's just end it like, really well, like, where fans can leave it up to their interpretation. But I'm glad they are getting another season because I need more. The Amanda Waller like thing, we talked about it a bit earlier, but like I kind of like this arc for her. Like she's so in the public this season, like saying aliens are bad. And like we're kind of getting the Amanda Waller we're used to now, where like she's underground, but like she's always going to be like, I was right. I know what I was doing was right. Blah blah blah, kind of thing going on.
Of course.
So very interested to see where they take her, because Deborah Wilson is fantastic as Waller. I hope she keeps voicing her forever. But yeah, this show's great. I'm excited for whatever happens with Lex, the rest of the crew. I feel like they can definitely do some Reign of Superman stuff, since we've already been introduced to Steel and Superboy's coming. And Hank Henshaw. I mean, come on, that's half the Superman right there.
True.
So yeah, just more of the show, please. I love how much they wear their heart on their sleeve, and like you said earlier, it's just makes you optimistic.
Yeah. What would you give a letter grade?
I'd probably do like a B+.
Okay.
Maybe because I love that first season so much, like it was so fresh and new.
Okay.
And to you guys' points, like I found myself like wishing that like I didn't know much about Superman, like you said earlier, but at the same time, like
I get that.
I think it is a benefit like knowing Superman, because like of all the twists and kind of changes and tweaks they make it to make their own, so like you get to be like, oh, this is different from this.
I think it's a balance, because like I think I gave the first season of Fan-Fucking-Tastic, sticking with that for this season, just because I like when things get a little darker, like not that I don't need them to like Man of Steel the shit. But like when you have characters like Spider-Man and then you get them in darker situations, like it bounces with the optimism so well, and that's one reason why I Moon Girl and Devil Dinosaur season 2 for me is better than season 1, and that's for me is why the season's better than season 1. I'm really excited to see where they go with this. They've renewed it for season 3, so Disney, it's your turn. Please renew Moon Girl and Devil Dinosaur for season 3. Like we it's written apparently, so please give us that. Come on, people, like do your goddamn job. Pardon me, but yeah, that was our review of My Adventures of Superman season 2. So before we get out of here, God, what do I have coming up? I have a review for got a review for the film Dandelion coming up, starring Kiki Lane. That's going to be out. That's going to be out on Monday. You can actually rent it right now on Prime Video and VOD. Looks like it's like $6 to rent. Well worth your time, people. Please check that out. Kiki Lane is fucking amazing. She should be our Storm if it's not DeWanda Wise.
Yes, she should.
It was directed by Nicole Regal, who I actually was privileged enough to do an interview with as well for the film. So that will be out on Monday along with the review. So check that out, please. That'll be up on YouTube as well as all of the places you can check the podcast. Oh God, what else? Tuesday. I'll say Wednesday because I might go see Borderlands on Tuesday. I'll be real. I was gonna go see it. I was gonna go see it today, and I just woke up and I went no, and I just went back to bed.
I don't think I will.
Yeah, I was like, yeah, I'm not feeling it today. so I went back to bed. But I'll have a review up for Borderlands next week. Isn't Alien next week?
Yeah.
Okay, shit. I gotta go. Yeah, I gotta go see Alien.
Romulus,
Romulus. Yeah, I gotta go see. I'll probably go see that nice and early in the morning because seeing that at night sounds unpleasant. But I'll probably check out Romulus. I'll probably check. I'll be real, y'all. Like that might be something I wait for VOD for. To be honest,
man.
like
I gotta go see that in theaters, man.
I might wait. We'll see. But I'll definitely have that review up for Borderlands next week. My Deadpool and Wolverine review will finally be out next week. I'm probably gonna do. God, what else am I doing now? I'm actually starting to go through my Rolodex. So okay, my Dandelion review will be up on Monday as well as the interview with Nicole. I will have a review up for Borderlands next week as 2. I'm finally gonna merge the 2. I'm gonna do a D23 wrap up as well as my MCU wish list. I'll do that on stream next week as well. God, was there anything else I was gonna review? No, I think that's everything. Yeah, I think that's it for the next week. But before we get out of here, Brandon, can you please tell people where they can find you on the socials and all that fun stuff?
Yes. You can find me on my most frequent social media, Letterboxd, at Brando Not Marlin, where I post a bunch of reviews. I am going down a Shyamalan. I can't even pronounce my own fucking thing. Shyamalan-a-thon. Nice. Doing a Shyamalan marathon. Okay, been watching all his movies because I hadn't seen a lot of them. In preparation for Trap that hopefully we get to see this weekend.
Oh shit, I gotta go see that still. God damn it. Movies, people.
I know. So yeah, currently I'm doing I think tonight I'm gonna do the Unbreakable trilogy with Unbreakable Split.
Yes, let's go. Yeah, fuck y'all. I own Glass in 4K. Glass is great. I don't give a fuck what any of y'all say.
Love that energy. But yeah, I haven't seen it, so I'm excited to visit.
I'm curious to get your thoughts on Glass because there's one thing that does bother me about it, but I can't tell you without spoiling it. So I'm excited to get your thoughts. Canada. It's actually funny. That's one of the first things I think Canada said was a hot take for me was like my love of Glass because everyone was like, Glass is bad. What the fuck? I'm like, no, fuck y'all. Glass is great. But Canada, can you tell people where they can find you on the socials and all that jazz?
Oh, sure. I'm at oneofus.net. Do reviews there. I got The Last Breath coming up that sex comedy from Netflix, the Decameron. The Instigators. That's what it's called.
Oh,
Matt
yeah.
Damon movie.
Yeah.
So I'm a secret Matt Damon fan, even though I trash him all the time.
Love that.
And I don't have Twitter. I'm in and out of Facebook. It's too much right now. Everyone keeps telling me.
I feel that, man.
It's so much strange news on Facebook. But I'm on Letterboxd as well at Bradley of Martin. My reviews are usually like a sentence, and they either relate or they don't. It just depends on how I'm feeling. But yeah, I appreciate Letterboxd a lot. Proud patron, support the posters, support the arts.
Same.
And thank you.
I will be telling y'all. I don't know if it'll be this month or next month. I'm rearranging the office here. If you've seen past streams, you can see there the posters on the back wall now. Got the new light set up, so gonna be rearranging the office, but probably in the next month or two, I'm gonna start streaming a dedicated night to play some wrestling on stream on Steam,
wrestling,
and go ahead and actually do like commentary for the matches and all that. So I think that's going to be a thing that I'll be doing moving forward. I know we're a couple months out, but I already have friends hanging up Halloween decorations, so fuck it, I'll bring it up now. October, I'm gonna start streaming Resident Evil 4. I've never beaten Resident Evil 4, so I'm gonna start that fresh, and that will be a journey that we all go on. Since it'll be getting darker earlier too, I'll be.
Are you doing the OG or the remake?
The remake, probably. I do have the OG though. I have the 05 version. So I don't know, but I'll be streaming Resident Evil 4 in some way, shape, or form. Yeah. I almost don't want to give Capcom more money just because I just think it's horse the way they keep remaking that shit.
Yeah,
so,
it's working.
Yeah, it is. So I might just play the one that I already own on Steam. But we'll see. As far as what's coming up, other stuff coming up, because I do want to stream some more games. I think it comes out in October, so I will have to wait a little bit, but I think I'm gonna stream Undisputed, that new boxing game coming out. I think that'll be I might have a dedicated night for that as well. So keep an eye out for that. I mean, I'm gonna start streaming more games here. But Brandon, Bradley, a pleasure as always. I appreciate y'all working through technical difficulties and storms to go ahead and hop on today. I really appreciate y'all. But y'all, D23 stream coming up next week, along with the MCU wish list, along with a Borderlands review, along with my AEW Dynamite review. I haven't watched Dynamite for this past week because I had a major headache on Wednesday. So we'll be back to a more regular stream schedule next week. But y'all, thank you so much for watching. Stay safe, take care of each other, and never forget, as always, to keep it real. Have a great weekend, y'all.